Good evening, everyone. Please stop the screen share. अंकित और गायत्री कौन है? So good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome from UGC-MMTTC. Can I see Dr. Viniti? And I think I can see Professor Sarita Pasi. So, good evening, Professor Sarita, and I welcome you as part of this team to take it further. So, let me just get started, and then you'll know how we will be proceeding. So, let me first share my screen. So I welcome each one of you in this NEP orientation and sensitization program. Starting from today, that is 3rd September, it will go till 13th September 2024. And this is the 18th batch that the center is running. I welcome each one of you on behalf of UGC Malviya Mission Teacher Training Center, also known as GAD-MMTTC. And this is a center of University Grants Commission and Ministry of Education. And it has the mandate of conducting the flagship program, which is entirely at the national level called as Malviya Mission Teacher Training Program. We were formerly known as GAD-TLC, and many of you have already joined our many programs. So welcome to each one of you. Our earlier colleagues who are having continued association with us and those who are joining for the very first time, a very warm welcome to each one of you. I extend welcome on behalf of Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, where this center is situated. And our college is a constituent college of University of Delhi. So I'll welcome on behalf of SETB Khalsa College as well as Delhi University. And as we proceed further, first of all, we'll seek blessings from Guru Angad Dev Ji, the second of the 10 Sikh Gurus, in whose name we have kept the center name, and we are taking his blessings to take our programs further to the nation cause. And at the central level, the scheme has been named in the honor of Bharat Ratna Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya Ji. So remembering him as well, we take the proceedings further. So I welcome each one of you with a warm welcome and with this virtual bouquet of flower. And this consists the entire team as well as all the participants who are administrators, teachers, research scholars from all our lovely country, India. And I will like to extend my gratitude and also convey welcome on behalf of our core team at GAD-MMTTC, which comprises of Padma Bhushan Sardar Talochan Singh Ji. He is the chairman, governing body, SCTB Khalsa College. I also extend warm welcome on behalf of Professor Ved Prakash sir, former chairman, University Grants Commission. Professor A.K. Bakshi sir, founder VC PDM University, former VC UPRTO. He'll also be starting with our first session. Professor Jaswinder Singh, who is Vice Chancellor at Eternal University, and he was principal at SCTB Khalsa College till September 2023. And as executive heads of this center, I extend warm welcome of behalf of Professor Gurmohinder Singh, who has newly joined as principal of our esteemed institution. And I am your main host, Vimal Rar, and I am heading the center of UGC-MMTTC at SCTB Khalsa College. I also extend welcome and also gratitude and thanks to my entire coordinating team who will be in along with Professor Sarita. We have many others. So this details I'll be requesting Professor Sarita to be doing. But before that, let me request you to please join your hands to seek the blessings of the God. GAD-MMTTC has state-of-art facilities in terms of providing training to the teachers, and our special focus is on the integration of technology in teaching, learning, assessment, the various ICT tools, and many other subject-specific programs. And we have the mandate of conducting various not only these NEP sensitization orientation program, but as well as FDPs, FIPs, refresher courses, to name a few. As a team, we have worked from more than a decade together, and our journey started mainly at the national level with the project of EPG Pathshala, where we also established the Center for E-Learning in 2013. And we had our own studio and the technical team. And as a unique model, we created where without taking any vendor's help, we had prepared in-house videos in these 6 subjects for EPG Pathshala project. And we completed this project not only in record time, but also with a good quality. And all this content is available for use of all of you at inflibnet.ac.in. And not only this, you can even benefit from many other subjects, because at UGC there were 77 subjects under this project where the content is available. We have also contributed for development of more than 50 MOOCs for the SWAYAM portal, out of which 42 MOOCs is the contribution for the PG level MOOCs in the UGC first phase. And we have also conceptualized this teacher's e-kit, and in my session, I'll be talking with you in detail that how you can also become a part of this open educational resource creation. Since 2016, we have been working for the capacity building of our colleagues in the brand of GAD-TLC of Ministry of Education. And since April 2020, when the corona pandemic came, we went online. And during this phase, we realized that our reach also exponentially expanded because of the technology, and it is now not only a game changer, but we have to be using this to empowering our entire education system as well as us. In the light of NEP, when Delhi University embraced for the very first time the skill enhancement courses, then we are the partners of Delhi University in terms of conducting series of national online faculty development programs, where I'm happy to share that in the last 2 years, we have conducted more than 45 programs along with DU for the various skills for our colleagues. And I am happy to share the statistics that till now we have conducted more than 500 events, and we have trained more than 98,000 teachers. We have also the scheme of ARPIT, which is Annual Refresher Program in Teaching, since 2018 for the 3 years, where we have organized these chemistry refresher course as online. And I'm happy to share that out of the 42 subjects at the national level, our chemistry content received the largest number of enrollments and successful completion, along with the quality content which was appreciated at the national level. And because of this massive teamwork, where not only the core team, but I will thank more than 2,000 teachers who have contributed actively, right from EPG Pathshala project to the conduct of various training programs, and that also include my colleagues like Professor Sarita Pasi, Dr. Arun Julka, Dr. Bibu, and many others who are now joining and helping us. And you also can become a part of this to really change in every classroom. And because of this massive work, our center was selected as one of the centers out of 45 centers selected. Overall, 99 were existing at that time as the Malviya Mission Center. And now we are called as UGC-MMTTC in this. So you should also know, because there are 2 types of structures which were existing prior this. There were UGC Human Resource Development Centers, HRDCs, which were earlier known as academic staff colleges. They all 67 of them, along with the selected few 45 centers of PMMT schemes. They are now all called as Malviya Mission Teacher Training Centers. And the vision of this new phase is to build competencies in the faculty for better teaching, learning, and research by exposing them to Indian values, updating knowledge and skills, and aligning teaching, learning, and research with the needs of the society and NEP 2020. As I mentioned, that all these centers, now there are 116 of them, and the number is dynamic. Those who will be performing, they will be continued, and those not, they may be discontinued. And this is not only they are conducting the NEP orientation and sensitization program, but also 1-month faculty induction program, and also the faculty development programs of 6 days and 12 days refresher courses. For this very particular NEP sensitization and orientation program, there will be 10 modules which will be covered in 8 days. And this is how the structure is evolved by Ministry of Education and UGC, which all the centers are following. But we are keeping it flexible, spreaded across 2 weeks. So 4 days in this week and 4 days in next week. And we will be covering these 10 modules in 8 sessions. So there may be that one module may be covered in one session, or it may be covered in 2 or 3, depending upon the depth that our team has envisaged. So what are these modules? These are holistic and multidisciplinary education, Indian knowledge system and multilingualism, academic leadership, governance and management, higher education in society, research and development, skill development, student diversity and inclusive education, information and communication technology, autonomy to the institution and choice to the students, and curriculum development, pedagogy, and assessment. So this particular batch, the 8 days will be, that is today, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th September in this week. And in this next week, please note the dates. We will be having 9th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. So 10th will be off, and Saturday, Sunday, which is 7th and 8th September, there will not be any sessions. We will be conducting the quizzes which can be attempted anytime between 10 a.m. till 11 p.m. on 15 September 2024, which happens to be a Sunday. So as per your convenient time, you can attempt the quiz, which will be a requirement for the successful completion. So what are the total requirements if we look at for the successful completion of this particular program? One is very important, which is attendance and participation, which will be recorded automatically on Zoom. So please, if you have logged in with some phone number or any other email ID, please rename yourself, because my team will be exporting the Zoom data. So no need to write in the chat that you are so-and-so from this institution. The chat will be used only for the interaction, or if you're having any doubt or if there is any issue. So my team will be there and you can be addressed about those. So the chat is not to be used for the attendance, number one. So it will be strictly through the Zoom, and there will be overall 20 marks based on your feedback, which you will be filling after every session. There will be 3 takeaways that you have to mention, and that will be done. There will be 2 quizzes, both having 40 questions each. They will be all MCQ with a single correct option, and they will be based on these 5 modules each. The quiz 1 on module 1 to 4 and 9th module, and the quiz 2 on 5 to 8 and 10th module. I'll be sharing the PDF of this important part of this presentation, so you don't have to remember which module. It will be available to all of you. And no grades will be mentioned as per the UGC guidelines, but the certificate will be issued only when you are getting more than 50%. So these are the 2 quizzes separation that we have done module wise. Other thing is very important is the attendance. I repeat again, please join with your videos on. So as per the UGC guidelines for this very particular program, we will not give you the recorded sessions. In other FDPs, we give so that you can revise and check that again. But here it is mandatory for all the participants to attend these sessions in real time and with your videos on. So you please log in 5 minutes before, and cooperation of all of you is solicited in this direction. And failure to do so may disqualify a participant to get the certificate of this program, and the decision of the director of the center, that's me, will be final and binding on all of you. So session-wise feedback will be given randomly in the chat of Zoom. It will not be shared in WhatsApp. Maybe for today, we can give that excuse. I will request my team to share that in the WhatsApp group also. But tomorrow onwards, it will be only available in the Zoom, and it can come anytime. Okay, so it will be coming random. And please be ready with the paper and pen so that you can write the 3 takeaways in each feedback. And I repeat, no certificate will be provided if all the things are not, don't be in the impression that in the quiz I'm getting more than 50. So there is no need of attending all the sessions. So that will be, we will not consider the quiz marks unless or until your attendance is complied with. And this is how the format of the certificate as per UGC, this will be provided to you. And one thing before I hand it over to my team to take the proceedings further is that one disclaimer I will like to do from the center point of view is the copyright of the session is of respective speakers. And without a prior written consent of the respective speaker, you please do not use or upload or stream his or her content either as full video or screenshot or publish in any other form. And the same disclaimer goes from the center to the speakers that any wrong information or some sensitive thing, if it is mentioned, the center has nothing to do. It will be the responsibility of the respective speaker. So with these words, I welcome each one of you again in this NEP program. And I welcome Professor A.K. Bakshi sir, who is founder VC PDM University and former Vice Chancellor UPRTO Allahabad and former Executive Director of Tertiary Education Commission to be taking the first session. And for that, I will request my team member, Dr. Viniti is there.
I
Sarita, you are on mute.
Okay. I'll do this. I'll do it.
So thank you, Sarita, for taking it further. I was actually in the midst of a meeting, so
I know that's fine. I'll do it.
Thank you so much. And so we will be all available. I am there in your WhatsApp group also. And wherever there is an issue, please let us know. We will be resolving. So thank you so much. Thank you. I hope sir has joined.
Yeah, sir, please video on कर लीजिए. I could see that he was
on है. मेरा videos तो बहुत देर से on है.
Sir,
पता नहीं. हाँ, मुझे
spotlight.
Okay, yeah, spotlight नहीं थे इसलिए.
Yeah, good evening, sir, and welcome. Please.
Good evening. Good evening.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'll have to be excused, please, and over to you. Yeah, thank you.
So welcome here, sir. Though sir is a part of the team, so I don't think he needs that welcome. But yes, as part of the organizing team, I would like to welcome sir here. And I would like to introduce sir here, though sir is, I think everybody must have heard him on so many occasions, and sir doesn't need that introduction. But yes, I'll just share my screen and so it's my honor to introduce Professor Dr. A.K. Bakshi sir, who's taking the first session today on higher education in society, part 1. He's the founder, VC PDM University, Bahadurgarh, and the former Vice Chancellor of UPRTO University, Allahabad, and also the former Executive Director, Tertiary Education, Mauritius. Now, Sir is a renowned academician and a former Sir Shankar Lal Professor of Chemistry in the University of Delhi. He's the founding Vice Chancellor of PDM University, Bahadurgarh, Haryana, as I just mentioned. He has also been Executive Director of Tertiary Education Commission, Mauritius, a post for which he was selected through a global selection, and Vice Chancellor of UP Rajshri Tandon Open University, Allahabad. He has also been Head Department of Chemistry Director of CPDHE and Director of Institute of Lifelong Learning, IEEE of Delhi University. He has also been a visiting professor at GGS-IP University in Delhi. Professor Bakshi has also been the chairman of the GAD-TLC and member of the Standing Committee of the National Mission on Education through ICT of the Government of India. He was also the chairman of the Content Advisory Committee for Chemistry for Sakshat portal of the MHRD Government of India. A double gold medalist, record breaker, and recipient of several awards and academic honors, Professor Bakshi was felicitated 2 times for his outstanding contributions to education by the former President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Professor Bakshi is the author or co-author of nearly 200 research and education articles and 1 patent. He also has to his credit 11 books as author, co-author, 51 ebooks or books as editor, chairman, convener of the working group, and 63 e-modules as author or co-author for PG chemistry courses and ARPIT programs of the MHRD. Sir is also one of the most sought-after speakers in the country, having delivered more than 400 invited talks during the last 4 years on different aspects of education at various national and international platforms. Sir has also been a member of National Writing Team for Chemistry, Class 11 and 12 books of NCERT. Professor Bakshi was elected as the president of the section of Chemical Sciences of the Indian Science Congress Association for the year 2011-12. He has also been a member of various committees of national and international importance. Professor Bakshi was also recently felicitated by the Union Minister Srimati Smriti Zubin Irani for his outstanding contributions as Chairman GAD-TLC in the professional development of teachers of the country. He is also one of the first persons from universities in India to have been selected as a member scientist of 3rd Indian Research Expedition to Antarctica. The expedition built India's permanent base, Dakshin Gangotri, in Antarctica. So with such an accomplishment, I think, sir, we are really honored to have you over here with us. And it is an honor for all of us to be hearing you on so many different aspects that we will be hearing from you during the course of this NEP orientation and sensitization program. And with these words, I hand over the mic to sir. So welcome here.
Thank you very much, Professor Sarita, for your very kind words of introduction. And I can also see Professor Vinita Gupta, who is also a member of our working group. And I also extend my warm greetings to all the participants from all over the country who have joined this NEP orientation and sensitization program. And I'm very sure that this program is going to be a great learning experience for each one of you. I know that it's a very heterogeneous group. We have, most of them are assistant professors, but we have some associates, some professors also who are there as participants, representing different disciplines and with varying years of experience, some with 20, 30 years, some just fresh. So that way it's a mixed lot. And then it becomes a challenge to deliver talks to such a group because they are all from different backgrounds and different subjects. Anyway, I'm sure that this NEP orientation and sensitization program, which is a must for every teacher in the country, and we are very fortunate that you are with us, and I'm very sure that during the next 8 working days, when we will have 16 sessions, you will learn a lot about NEP 2020. So coming to my talk, let me share my screen first.
बता दो ना पालक पनीर की रेसिपी.
I hope my screen is visible and I am audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So this is the first talk, and this is on the module Higher Education and Society. And just for a minute, may I request all the participants to keep their videos on. See, it's mandatory for you to keep your videos on. Otherwise, you may be disqualified for certificates. So as it has also been mentioned by Professor Bimal Rao. Anyway, so this is the title of my talk. In the light of NEP 2020, Empowering Teachers for Challenges in Higher Education in India in the 21st Century. So I will talk about the various challenges which you as teachers are going to face in India in this century. And as it has been written here, challenges are to be taken as opportunities in disguise. This is going to be a motivational talk based on NEP 2020 with an aim to empower you so that you are able to succeed and thrive in the 21st century. And believe you me, it can prove to be a game changer for each one of you. This talk is based on my conceptualization and experience and will prepare you for facing the challenges in your personal and professional lives. The thinking behind the talk is, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man how to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. So that's basically the thinking behind this talk. This talk will be in two parts. In the first part, which will be an introductory one, I will tell you a little bit about NEP 2020 and also about the traditional roles of teachers in higher education. See, if we look at the national education policy, what is the spirit behind NEP 2020? See, it is an education policy. And one thing you must remember, that education is relevant and of quality only when it is able to serve the needs of the changing society. Otherwise, education has no meaning. And in the 21st century, world is changing very fast. The result is society is changing very fast, mainly because of technological advancements. And therefore, education also will have to change. And that is the reason why this new policy has come. And this policy proposes various reforms in education that are suited to 21st century needs. And this policy, if you look at the entire policy, it is a visionary document which expresses the aspirations of the nation. And it aims at making India a global knowledge superpower. See, when I say global knowledge superpower, it means superpower not only in terms of knowledge dissemination, but also in terms of knowledge creation. And knowledge creation means research. So you have to be very good in both. And the second is making India a global study destination. So what does it mean? That our higher educational institutions should be so good that learners from all over the world come to India for their higher studies. So these are the two major aims of NEP 2020, and these will lead ultimately to create a vibrant knowledge society. See, what is the meaning of vibrant knowledge society? See, vibrant knowledge society is a dynamic community where knowledge is actively created, then shared, and then utilized to drive innovation, economic growth, and social well-being. So that is the meaning of the vibrant knowledge society. And that's what this policy aims at. And if you go into the details of this policy, it proposes to achieve all this by making school and college education more holistic, flexible, and multidisciplinary. These three are very important aspects: holistic, flexible, and multidisciplinary. And there are 5 pillars on which this policy is based: access, quality, equity, affordability, and accountability. All these will be covered in NEP 2020. And when I say holistic education, that means aim is to focus on the overall development of our students, whether it is physical, emotional, mental, and social. That is what it constitutes holistic development. And when I talk about equity, it means education should be imparted with equity. You can see equity is on the right side. You have to be fair. You have to do justice in contrast to equality. So here we are focusing on equity. And see why I am focusing on empowering teachers. Because please remember, the quality of an education system can never exceed the quality of its teachers. So if you want to raise the quality of an education system, you must raise the competence level of the teachers. That is why, we are focusing on empowerment of the teachers. And the thinking is that the empowered teachers, they will in turn empower their students. So we are focusing on empowering teachers indirectly to support student learning. And please remember that our greatest natural resource is the minds of our young students, young children. India is one of the youngest nations of the world. 50% population less than 25 years. 65% population less than 35 years. So it is a demographic dividend which India enjoys. And we need to ready these young children for future challenges. And to a great extent, responsibility rests with you, the teachers. Because students may be 25% of our population, but then they are 100% of our future. This is something one cannot afford to be oblivious of. And please remember, a child miseducated is a child lost. We have to ensure that no child in this country is miseducated. We give them the right education. No talent of the country should go waste. That's basically the thinking behind this NEP 2020. So this was what I could say the spirit behind NEP 2020. Now I will come to the traditional roles of a teacher in higher education. And you know that these are the major roles: to disseminate knowledge, that is teaching; to create knowledge, that is research and guiding research; and then academic administration and management. And a teacher is expected to excel in all the 3 roles. So based on my experience, what I think is that if you want to be an outstanding teacher or a researcher, you should have a very sound and deep knowledge in your discipline. You should be very good in the practical skills. You should have clarity of concepts. and your teaching should reflect the amount of thinking you have done on the subject. See, there are so many teachers teaching the same subject, but they differ in what? They differ in amount of thinking they have done on the subject. And then you should have the passion to become an outstanding teacher. See, all these things are very easy to say, but very difficult to have in practice. And then for an outstanding researcher, besides what I have said, you need to be an out-of-box thinker. You need to have an analytical mind so that you can break a problem into its various parts and then analyze it. You should be innovative and creative. And then 4 C's. 4 C's means curiosity, creativity, courage, and commitment. These are the 4 essentials for an outstanding researcher. And then for both outstanding teacher and researcher, you should have excellent communication and presentation skills. These are must. Because, no one will take the pains to listen to your ideas until and unless your communication is effective and impressive. Practice so that you are very good in these things. And you should make efforts. And please remember, all the great speakers were bad speakers at first, but then they worked hard and then they reached to the top. So, this was a part devoted to basic fundamentals. These you knew already, but just I have emphasized them. Now I come to part B, where I will talk about the challenges which you are going to face in these roles which you are supposed to do. What are going to be the challenges? Let's try to understand them. See, the first challenge would come from the information age. See, we are living in an information age where you can get any information just by the click of a button. But this information age poses many challenges. One is that this is an age of uncertainty with respect to jobs. So what does it mean? There is a future of jobs report published by the World Economic Forum, which says that there is a complete uncertainty as to where our students will be working in jobs, which jobs they will be working. Those jobs may not be even existing at present. So you are not sure where your students will be employed tomorrow. So that is this uncertainty, which is a challenge. Second is, this is an age of mass education. See, it is an age where more and more students over the next 30 years will graduate than since the beginning of the recorded history. Because all universities, all colleges are going to enhance the gross enrollment ratio. So there will be many students joining and coming out of the universities and colleges. But traditional jobs are becoming less, but takers would be many. So that would create a tough competition. This is another challenge. And then this is also an age of artificial intelligence. This is an age where artificial intelligence will equal the intelligence of the students by the time they finish their formal education. So the question is, if I can have machines with the same intelligence as you, then why do I need you? So that's going to be a challenge. And already all these jobs which are repetitive, are of predictable nature, which require no critical thinking, no critical analysis, no research base, no specialization, all those jobs are going to be in danger. Either because of artificial intelligence, automation, or robotics. Look at the picture. Humans are working along with robots. That is going to be the scenario in future. And very recently, Elon Musk, who is the CEO of Tesla, who says that AI system, artificial intelligence system, will soon be smarter than the smartest human on the earth, probably by next year or by 2026. So you can very well imagine how things are going to change. And in the light of all this, The challenge as a teacher for you is what to teach, how to teach, so that the children are successful in a future that is so uncertain. That's going to be a big challenge for all of us. So these are the challenges which are coming from this information age, from this, industrial revolutions which are taking place. Second challenge is from sustainable development goals. See, presently, sustainable development in the world is the burning issue in the world at present. What is sustainable development? Sustainable means something which can be maintained for long periods of time, keeping in view the future generation. And development is always economic development. So why there is a concern for its sustainable development? Look at this. Population is exploding in the world. Currently, we have about 8 billion people. By 2050, we will have 9.7 billion people. So this population explosion will lead to the fast depletion of resources, including food, minerals, and others. All these are going to be problem. Then water scarcity is another issue. FAO report says that by 2025, 1.8 billion people will face acute water scarcity. Then problem of environmental degradation. You know that, pollution and all that. And then climate change. Rising sea level, increase in atmospheric temperature. All these are the issues of concern. So education will have to address to these concerns. That was the reason why United Nations in 2015 gave United Nations Agenda 2030, where it talked about 17 sustainable development goals, which need to be achieved by 2030. And in this agreement, 193 countries, including India, signed. So we are committed to achieving these 17 sustainable development goals. And you can see on the right side are the 17 goals. The goal first is no poverty, then zero hunger, then good health, then quality education, gender equality, etc. Actually, if you examine them minutely, these 17 sustainable development goals are the real world problems. And in order to solve them, you need knowledge of several different disciplines. For example, suppose climate change is a serious problem these days. You can see climate change happening everywhere. Now, if you want to understand and solve the problem of climate change, you need knowledge of climatology, political science, economics, green technology, sociology, etc. So what does it mean? That means here you are requiring a multidisciplinary approach. So this is now a very important issue. Sustainability has become so important that I think only 1 week back, this was in the report, that NIRF ranking 2025, National Institute ranking framework from next year, has introduced sustainability as additional parameter in rankings. Universities and colleges will be assessed on the basis how much sustainable their campuses are. So this is going to be an additional thing. And this multidisciplinary education, which I just said, you need knowledge of several different disciplines. So it will allow students to gain a deeper understanding of the subject matter through the lens of different disciplines. And when this United Nations agreement was signed in 2015, Prime Minister Modi at that time said, much of India's development agenda is mirrored in the Sustainable Development Goals. Most of our policies are aligned with these 17 goals. Even the G20 meeting which we had, the working of G20 meeting is aligned with the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. So you can see every country in the world has to work on these 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And in this, education can play a very important. And look at this. This is the quality education, which is one of the goals, goal number 4, where it talks about ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. This is the goal 4. Here the words come: inclusive, equitable, quality education, and promoting lifelong learning. And if you look at, you see, this goal was given in 2015. And if you look at our NEP 2020, which came 5 years later, the various provisions of NEP 2020 are based on this goal. So even this education policy is aligned with the Sustainable Development Goal number 4. That is the point you have to remember. Even our health policy is aligned with these goals. So this is another challenge. Sustainable development achievement. How to develop policies. And the third challenge is 21st century learning needs. This is now I am going to talk about the third challenge. Now, what is this challenge? See, it is now believed that in the 21st century, if you want to excel, you need at least 2 things. One is rigorous academic content. You should be very good in the subject. And second is 21st century skills. 21st century skills are actually a set of abilities which each one of us must have if we want to succeed and thrive in the modern world. And these 2 taken together lead to deeper learning. Now, what are 21st century skills? These are this. Look at them. They are under 3 categories: learning skills, literacy skills, and life skills. Learning skills, we have critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication, 4 C's. Literacy skills, we have information literacy, media literacy, technology literacy, IMT, I say. Then life skills, flexibility, leadership, initiative, productivity, and social skills. So, these taken together, these are 12 skills you can see. They are must for everybody if you want to be successful in the modern age. They will elevate your job performance. You may be in any profession. Any profession you may be, these 21st century skills can be a big asset for you. Why they have become suddenly so important? Because, you cannot have machines with these skills. Artificial intelligence cannot replicate them. For example, you cannot have a machine which is critically thinking or which is creative or which is having leadership quality. No. So all those individuals who have these skills, that is why, in the modern world, strategies are being developed to integrate 21st century skills with education. And that is how we get the definition of quality education. So quality education in the 21st century will be this. This is the most important slide. Focus has to be on knowledge, academic knowledge, disciplinary, interdisciplinary, and practical. This is the first thing. Second is 21st century skills and domain-specific skills. Domain-specific skills means skills specially of your discipline. Then your personality, values, attitude, traits, disposition. See, education has to focus on these 3 things. See, when we were students, focus was mainly on knowledge. People didn't talk much about skills or personality development. Although they were important, but they didn't focus much. But now all the 3 things are very important. And they will ultimately determine your competence for any profession. For example, you are a teacher. Now, as an assistant or associate professor or as a professor, you need knowledge, you need skills, and you need personality if you want to become very competent. Even if one of these three things is weak, it will adversely affect your competence. That's why, universities are now doing skill enhancement and value-added courses. So acquiring competence should be the goal of quality education. And this slide summarizes everything. Your competence in any profession will be determined by knowledge, skills, and personality. Any profession. For example, if there is an IAS officer, IAS officers also needs knowledge of a different type, skills, and personality. You are an engineer, you need knowledge of a different type. Ultimately, three things determine your competence in any profession. So, fourth challenge, in my opinion, is that we need to have creative and innovative minds in India. See, I personally feel that there is a crisis of innovation and creativity in Indian education system. For example, no scientist has got Nobel Prize after 1930 while working in India. No scientist has got. C.V. Raman was the last person who got Nobel Prize. After that, no scientist has got. No scientist from chemistry has ever got Nobel Prize working in India. These people did get Nobel Prize, no doubt, but then they were non-resident Indians. Even Amartya Sen, who got Nobel Prize in economics, although he is an Indian, but for years he has been working abroad. Even Abhijit Banerjee, although he is an American citizen, he is an American citizen. He has not been working in India. So what I mean is, one has to keep it in mind that Nobel Prize is not a lifetime achievement award. If you want to excel in research at that level, besides many other things, you need enormous amount of creativity and open-mindedness. You need willingness to collaborate. See, we teach our students to look at every other student as competitors. No, they need to collaborate. Then we also need perseverance and resilience. Even if setbacks occur, you should bounce back and again be in the field. So, these are the things which help you in excelling in research, which Indians sometimes lack. That is the reason why we are not very good in world university rankings. This is one reason. This is one of the main reasons for poor world ranking of our higher education institution, poor quality of our research programs. Quality is missing, creativity is missing. Sometimes, best students sometimes don't come to research. Other day, I think it was reported in Rajya Sabha that best science students are going to civil services. They do not come to research. So why we are lacking in quality research? That could be the question in our mind. Why is it that we are not able to produce world-class researchers? Ultimately, it has to do with our education system. There is some serious fundamental flaw in our education system. And this small video will explain it. Try to look at this.
For decades, people have been finding hundreds of flaws in the education system. No conceptual understanding, no creativity, children are stressed, and the list goes on. All these are symptoms. But what is the root cause to all this? What is the fundamental flaw in the education system? Let us play a rapid-fire game. You have 1 second to answer every question. Let's start. First question. A4? Okay, no more questions. Did you think apple first? 98% of people are most likely to think so. Because that was what we were told in our kindergarten. Imagine that this was done differently. Say we had asked you for all the words starting with A. Ant, ace, April, apt. Different answers would have popped out of everyone's head. Do you see where the problem is? Before children start going to school, every child is unique. Every child thinks different. But the education system makes every child think the same. This is the fundamental flaw in the education system. Why did this start? During the Industrial Revolution in the 18th century, the education system was designed to make children ready to work in factories. The factories did not require people to think, but to only work like robots. So, the education system stripped children of their freedom to think and destroyed their true potential. The same education system continues even today. Only the industries have changed. A study by NASA shows that 98% of children think different before they start going to school. As they go through this education system, at 25 years of age, only 2% think different, and 98% think the same. So how does the education system make every child the same? Let's go back to the apple example. Kindergarten lessons told us that A is for apple. We asked you for words that start with A. Our education system gave us the answers. We asked you a question. Answers make you the same. Questions make you different. Right from kindergarten, the education system keeps giving answers. Instead of asking children how plants make food, the science teacher gives you the definition of photosynthesis. Instead of asking them to describe the sun, the teacher tells them that the sun is a ball of fire at the center of the solar system. Through their years in school, children lose the capability to think on their own. Whether it is their choice of career or their relationship or any situation in life, they become.
So you can see how our education system strip the children of their ability to think on their own. Because we have been giving ready-made answers to the various questions and ask the same in the examination. That's not education. So this is a serious problem in our education system. And please remember, our education system in a way is outdated and does not encourage thinking, innovation, and creativity among students. And without creativity, there can be no progress. Because we are repeating the same thing. So we will have to think how to change it. So this is a challenge before all of us. Therefore, the next challenge which follows is that we need to enhance the quality of higher education imparted in the country. So the question is how to do that. See, in any education system, three things are very important. What do you teach? That is the curriculum. How do you teach? That is pedagogy. And then how do you assess your students? And if you look at India's education system, we have 21st century students. But sometimes we are teaching them 19th century content. Our methods of teaching, our assessment methods, our courses architecture, all old 20th century. We have not changed much with the time. We need to change with the changing times. Now let's look at curriculum. Curriculum means what? Curriculum is a total learning experience. It's like the menu which we offer to our students. And the biggest challenge to curriculum is coming from the growth of knowledge. The knowledge in all disciplines is growing very, very fast. So fast that the doubling time of the growth of knowledge has shrunk considerably. Shelf life of knowledge is becoming shorter. See, there was a time when human knowledge was doubling in 150 years. Now, human knowledge is doubling in less than 73 days. So what does it mean? That means our curriculum will become outdated as soon as it is created. And please remember, what we know in any discipline is merely a drop, and what we do not know is an ocean. And therefore, NEP also says we need to revise our syllabi more frequently. It should be light. because we should give more time to students for thinking, but it should be modern. Because, outdated syllabi will increase the gap between what is learned and what should be learned. And this will affect the quality of research. See, one of the main reasons why we are not able to become leaders in many fields, this is one reason, outdated syllabi which we teach our students. He is Professor C.N. Rao, Bharat Ratna scientist, who says 90% of the universities in India have outdated curriculum. So what does it mean? We have to change. We need to have skill-based and industry-led curriculum. We have to understand what modern industries need. Because the world is shifting towards skill-based economy, where the focus is going to be on practical knowledge with hands-on experience. But we are not changing. Industry, academia collaboration is missing. And skills are becoming very important. It is now said, future belongs to those who learn more skills and combine them in creative ways. Second is pedagogy. Pedagogy is how do you teach? Pedagogy means the art and science of teaching. We still teach by the traditional talk and chalk method, which is a teacher-centric approach, mainly a monologue. Many complex concepts cannot be explained on the board. It presumes all students learn in identical fashion. You can't solve many problems in the class, then it is slow and time-consuming. These are the limitations of talk and chalk method. And then, our method of teaching generally focuses on examination, rote learning, and scoring high marks. This is very unfortunate. This is today's reality in every discipline. Nobody wants to learn concepts. Everybody wants to score 90 plus marks. See, irony of our country is that we focus more on well-filled mind. We keep on filling the minds of young students with more and more knowledge. But please remember, what we need is well-formed mind. The mind which is formed through thinking, innovation, and creativity. That's missing. And please remember, era of rote learning is over. We have to be clear about this. Because, the real education is that which transforms the learners, which changes the learner. Just like a seed gets transformed to plant and plant gets transformed to tree, like that. That is why now in the modern world, it is now well established that learning is not the product of teaching. Learning is the product of the activity of the learners. So you engage the learners in various activities. That is why these days there is a concept of learner-centric education in the country. The thinking behind learner-centric education is that students will learn best when they are engrossed in the topic, motivated to seek out new knowledge and skills because they need them to solve the problems at hand. Let them think on their own what they need to solve the problem. And all this is possible in this modern information age. Even experiential learning, what we talk, is the learner-centric education. Experiential learning is learning by doing. That's why, fostering experiential learning and critical thinking among students is an important objective of NEP 2020. Now, in this learner-centric education, there are many methods of teaching. You can follow any one of them. You can follow problem-based learning. You can follow project-based learning, case studies, inquiry-based learning, flipped classroom model, collaborative learning, TPS, think, pair, share strategy, community outreach, travel, internship, research program, all come under learner-centric education. Because, in each one of them, learner does something. They think, teacher merely acts as a guide, a coach. And through learner-centric education, the roles of the learners will also change from passive learner. Now they will become active, highly independent, and creative thinkers. That is the advantage which we get. Therefore, why I am telling all this? Because the challenge for you is to adopt these new learner-centric methods of teaching in your classroom. You might have been taught by talk and chalk method, but then you need to shift to this. That's very much required. See, look at these leading universities of the world, Harvard, Stanford, Wharton. In all of them, focus is more on case studies, experiential learning, project-based learning, problem-based learning, very little focus on lecture-based learning. But in our country, we focus more on lecture-based learning. Please remember, if we teach today's student as we taught yesterday's, we are going to rob them of tomorrow. Teachers will have to change with the changing time. This is the need of the hour. This was my article in Times of India's Education Times, Creativity Crisis in the Indian Education System. And this is the flipped classroom, which is a learner-centric method. Maybe we will talk about it later. And then assessment is another third component, how we assess. And here also NEP 2020 says we need to transform the culture of assessment in the country. Because assessment drives learning. The way you will assess your students will start learning in that way. So it can be a good way to enhance quality of education. See, if you look at our current examination system, it is still rote-based, mainly about textbook content and testing facts, definition given there. Anything, if it comes outside the textbook, protests start, or people say out of syllabus, etc. That's not education, Therefore, assessment process needs to be made more scientific to encourage multiple skills of the student. What skills? Analytical, critical thinking, and conceptual clarity. See, for example, look at this. This is the revised Bloom's taxonomy. Cognitive learning. Cognitive learning means mental level knowledge when you acquire. So cognitive learning is a 6-level hierarchy. What does it mean? Whenever you acquire new knowledge, it starts from the bottom. Bottom is remember. Then comes understanding, then comes application, and then goes up to creativity. So cognitive learning is a 6-level hierarchy, taking you from lower order thinking skill to higher order thinking skill. And these are the 6 learning outcomes. Now, if you teach like this, then you should assess also like this. Assessment should test every learning outcome. But if you look at our examination system in the country, generally assessment focuses on remembering or understanding our application part. Beyond that, we do not go. That is why there is a creativity crisis in Indian education system. So, these are small things, but they are really the problem in our country in education. Now, what you should do for lower order thinking skill, you can have MCQ, short question answer, match, fill in the blanks, etc. But for higher order thinking skills, you should have projects, internship, e-portfolios, etc. So ideal assessment would be the blend of both. But look at our country. Almost all major exams in our country are MCQ based. And MCQ based exams have very serious limitations. Maybe they are very easy to evaluate, but then they are very serious limitation. They have very serious limitation. They cannot test your analytical understanding, conceptual clarity. It's like generally more or less like kaun banega crorepati type questions. And in this entire assessment, teachers can play a very important role. Currently, we have about 4 crore students in higher education. They appear in various exams. What type of questions you said, your competence, your skills, your creativity matters a lot. Another challenge, 6th challenge, which I think is yet all the teachers need to embrace technology and become tech savvy. This is another very important challenge for each one of you. Now, what does it mean? That, see, you will all agree that it is difficult to imagine education without technology in the 21st century. Even NEP 2020 says that the relationship between technology and education at all levels is bidirectional. Technology enhances the quality of education, and enhanced quality of education then further improves the technology. So they feed on each other. And see how technology has already changed the way education is imparted. And all this happened during Corona times. Look at this slide, very important slide. Teaching learning has changed. E-learning, MOOCs, PowerPoint presentations are becoming very popular. Experimental work is done through virtual labs in many disciplines. The revision of syllabi you can do very quickly through email, discussion forum, video conferencing. For research, so many ICT tools have come. Assessment mainly is done on online. National Testing Agency has been created. All exams are on online mode. Professional development of the teachers. Look at this program. This is also online. And then ICT empowered pedagogies have come. See, technology has totally changed the way education is imparted. So who has done all this? The teachers only. So you will have to become tech savvy. So being tech savvy is no longer optional for you. It is essential for providing high quality education, meeting the needs of modern students, and preparing them for a technology driven world. But please remember that the technology in education is a journey. Technology is evolving very, very fast. For example, artificial intelligence is already going to redefine education in the world. Artificial intelligence is going to revolutionize the way we teach, learn, and research. So there is no other option. You will have to become tech savvy. But please remember, technology will never replace great teachers, but technology in the hands of great teachers is transformational. If you are a very good teacher and you are also tech savvy, that combination can do wonders. This was my report in Times of India that technology won't replace teachers. And the 7th challenge is the new roles of teachers in higher education. That also you have to keep it in mind. What are the new roles of teachers? Because the roles of the teachers are also going to change now. So they are going to change significantly in the 21st century. Now you will have to become tech-savvy teachers in ICT skills, 21st century skills, artificial intelligence skills. If students are enrolled in e-learning and MOOCs, and if they have some queries, who will answer? You only. So you must learn how to manage virtual classroom and discussion forum. You need to engage students by learner-centric pedagogies. So teachers now become more like a coach or a mentor rather than the knowledge provider. There was a time when teacher was the giver of knowledge, not now. Now there are many sources of knowledge. And then you should be proficient in the development of e-content and MOOCs, and you should have excellent writing skills. So these are the new rules. And teachers, as I said, have now, their roles have changed from knowledge givers to facilitators of learning. These are the new roles of the teachers now. Because now there are so many sources of knowledge available. There was a time when teacher was considered to be the only source of knowledge, but not now. So, ladies and gentlemen, a change of mindset is required. Don't think that what I know is enough. No, I must learn more. And this is a very famous quote: birds born in a cage think flying is an illness. You will have to come out of that. And now I come to the last challenge, which I think is very important, and where I will give you some personality development tips for enhancing your competence. It will enhance your job performance. This is based on my own personal experience. These things can change your lives. See, I showed this slide earlier. For becoming a competent professional, you need knowledge, skills, and personality. Generally, we focus on knowledge and now on skills, but personality sometimes is neglected. But personality plays a very important role. By personality, I mean a set of traits and behavior that characterize an individual. Personality doesn't mean only your looks. And personality importance you can judge from the fact that 87% of all people fail, not because of capability, but because of personality. And they don't know that their personality is coming in the way of their job performance. Personality is important because, it influences almost every aspect of human life. Therefore, you have to understand its importance. I sometimes feel sad that we don't teach these aspects to our students, and that is why they suffer. Therefore, I'm going to give you some personality development tips in the form of life lessons to enhance your competence. See, they can change your life if you follow them. And one thing you should remember, life can only be understood backwards, but then it has to be lived forwards. That is something you have to remember that. Look at this quote. A grandma telling the little girl, it's only a short trip, enjoy it. That means life looks like an eternity, but actually it is just a short trip. We have come in this world. On this short trip, you don't know when your trip will be over. Therefore, you should all learn the art of living. It's very sad that most of the people in this world only exist. Living has become rare. And please remember, you only live once, but if you do it right, one is more than enough. And by the art of living, I mean capability to draw pleasure from life and to succeed in the greatest test called life. Life itself is a great test. You have to succeed in it. See, this was the report which recently came in Indian Express that India ranks 126th out of 143 nations in the World Happiness Index. India is not happy. People are not happy. They are stressed, thinking always about future, worried, and I don't know, all sort of fears. They are not able to live. They are always in a state of, anger or all that. And please remember, you will never find a happy life. You will have to make it. There is no perfect life. You can only fill it with perfect moments. See, don't look at them as just code. They are real meanings behind all these. So the first tip which I want to give to you is be proactive in life. See, everybody follows an approach to life. I suggest be proactive. If you are proactive, you focus on preparing. If you are reactive, you end up focusing on repairing. So proactive people means you think well in advance and take action. Proactive people don't wait for the ship to come in, they swim out to it. Then, most of you are very hardworking, I know, but then you will have to come out of your comfort zone. Many people start living in their comfort zone. That's why they are not able to make a mark in life. See, some people think, oh, I am getting a good salary, my husband or wife getting a good salary, children are well set, why should I work? So that's a comfort zone. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Please remember that. It's only after you have stepped out of your comfort zone that you begin to change, grow, and transform. Then work hard sensibly. I know many of you must be very hardworking, but sensible is important. By sensible, I mean direction is more important than speed. Think of your direction very carefully. Choose your direction very carefully. Of course, you are free to choose any direction, but then you will not be free from the consequences of your choice. Spend a time, plan your career, manage your career, and then work. And then please remember that life is a process. No one rises suddenly in the world, not even the sun. You will have to be persistent after choosing the right direction and then have a never give up attitude. And then in this journey of life, where you want to go very high, self-belief is very important. Believe in yourself. Look at the quote. A bird sitting on a tree is never afraid of the branch breaking because her trust is not in the branch, but in her own wings. That sort of confidence you should have. Because, one who believes in himself has no need to convince others. That itself will drive that person ahead. Then self-discipline is another very important quality you should have. By self-discipline, I mean mastery over your thoughts. If you can control what you think, you can always control what you do. And this can be a turning point if you are self-disciplined. Because there is nothing in this world that can trouble you more than your own thoughts. And we think about 70,000 thoughts a day. Kgs are not made of iron, they are made of thoughts. So develop this habit of self-discipline, self-control. If you can learn self-control, you can master anything. Start practicing it. It will change your life. And then it will also make you mentally tough. This is a quality which you need sometimes, especially in the face of adversity. And then always strive for excellence. Excellence should be the key word. A penguin can never be a giraffe. So try to be the best penguin you can be. Why not? And then be positive and honest in life. Always positive thinking. Look at this 11 marks out of 10. Height of positivity. Positive thinkers, will have a solution for every problem, and negative thinkers will have a problem for every solution. Think positive. And then many people, they are not able to do much because they have a fear of failure in life. Overcome that fear of failure. Look at this quote. जब तक तुम डरते रहोगे, तुम्हारी जिंदगी के फैसले कोई और लेता रहेगा. Overcome this fear of failure. Failures can be the pillars of success depending on how you take them. And your attitude towards failure determines your altitude after failure. This mindset, your attitude is very, very important. And then one problem with our youth is that they worry a lot. Please stop worrying and start living. Because, worry is a misuse of your imagination. You suffer more in imagination than in reality. Please remember that. And one day you will look back and realize that you worried too much about things that don't really matter. But by that time would have gone and you cannot do anything. And the best thing in life is you worry only about the things which are in your control. And what is in your control? Your attitude, your effort, your focus. Don't worry about the things which are out of your control, like what others will do, what will happen in future, what will be the actions of the others, or what will happen around me. Why to bother about that? This small, separation of thinking can do wonders for you. And then take risks in life. This is my also advice to you. You can calculate risk. Sometimes you need to lose small battles in order to win the war. So take risk, be courageous. And one small thing more which I have noted down is create a sense of urgency in your life. Look at this. If you give yourself 30 days to clean your home, it will take you 30 days. But if you give yourself 3 hours, it will take you 3 hours. The same applies to your goals, ambitions, and potential. So you can create a new life for yourself by creating urgency in your current life. You should be a man in a hurry. You should set deadlines and stick to them, because otherwise work will always expand according to the time available and work will never be completed. So create a sense of urgency in life. And then control anger. Everybody gets angry, but it's better to control. And whenever you get angry, think of this slide. The fire of anger burns you first. Please remember that. So why you are burning yourself? Control. And never say mean words out of anger, because your anger will pass, but your mean words can scare a person for life. Use either kind words or be silent. And psychology says, that whenever you are angry, beneath anger, there is always some fear in your mind. That is what psychology says. तो ये एक यूजफुल टिप है, किसी पर ज्यादा नाराज होने से बेहतर है कि अपने जीवन में उसकी अहमियत को ही कम कर. This is a good tip for you. And then time management, of course, that is the most important thing. Time management is life management. Manage your time very well. Everybody gets 24 hours a day. The richest man on the earth, the poorest man on the earth, everybody has 24. The secret to success is how you manage your time. This is a very famous Amitabh's quote, कल खो दिया आज के लिए, आज खो दिया कल के लिए. कभी जी ना सके हम आज के लिए, बीत रही है जिंदगी कल, आज और कल के लिए. That's how the life will pass. So invest your time, don't spend it. That's the message. And please remember, every day is once in a lifetime, and every day is the first day of the rest of your life. Take it like that. बंदी हैं हाथ पर सबके घड़ियां, मगर पकड़ में किसी के एक लम्हा भी नहीं. That's the reality of life, and that's how time flies, and you don't realize how things have changed. Time spares no one. I always say time spares no one. Look at this Bollywood song.
समय की धारा में, समय की धारा में मरी है जानी थी, जो घड़ी पीने में, जो घड़ी पीने में वही रह जानी है.
Look at all these, big stars, so much fan following, and see how life changes, how time changes the people. That's why it is said, live in the present, live in the moment. Don't think too much in advance. The present moment is the only moment available to us, and it is the door to all moments. Life becomes more meaningful when you realize the simple fact that you will never get the same moment twice. Live in the moment and make the best use of it. ये एक बड़ा अच्छा कोट है. मैं कल को तलाशता रहा दिन भर, और शाम होते होते मेरा आज भी चला गया. So that's how it happens. See, these are the time-tested facts of the life which I am sharing with you. All these things everybody will realize at one stage in the life, just as I have realized. But generally, by the time you realize, it's too late. That's why I am telling you all these things. And then have a high opinion of yourself. Don't think low of yourself. That's not modesty. That is self-destruction. Think high of yourself. It is a necessary precondition for happiness and success. You may not be perfect in many things, agreed, but many things cannot be perfect without you. Stay special in your own little ways. You are unique. Please remember that. Don't try to copy anyone. No one can match. And then never become arrogant in life. This is also a small tip to you. Sometimes, a small success goes into a person's head and the person becomes arrogant. Don't do that. Arrogance is the surest path to failure. And look at this quote, so beautiful said. कभी किसी चीज का घमंड आ जाए तो शमशान का एक चक्कर लगा आना, तुमसे बेहतरीन लोग वहां राख बने पड़े हैं. Just think. Remember, you are dust, and to dust you will go. Keep this reality of life always in mind, then you will always remain humble and never become arrogant. समय और भाग्य पर कभी अहंकार मत करो, क्योंकि ये दोनों परिवर्तनशील हैं, पता ही नहीं चलेगा, कुछ मोमेंट्स में सब कुछ बदल जाता है. And then challenge yourself. So whatsoever I have said today, all the challenges which I have said, at the end of the day, you will agree that your biggest competition is with you only. You should become the master of your mind. You should not become the puppet of your mind. Be your own king. And you are a king if you know how to rule yourself. So first, rule yourself. Self-belief, self-discipline, control anger, all this comes under that. You don't have the problem, you are the problem. स्वर्ग भी तू है, नरक भी तू है, इन दोनों का फर्क भी तू. वो कहते हैं ना कि जिंदगी छोटी नहीं होती, लोग जीना ही देरी से शुरू करते हैं, जब तक रास्ते समझ में आते हैं तब तक लौटने का वक्त हो जाता है. तो समझदारी तो यही है कि लौटने के वक्त से पहले ही समझ जाइए कि क्या क्या करना है. And then it's never too late to be what you might have been. Still, you may be 30, 40, 50, whatsoever may be your age. Those years are gone, but still you can change your life. It's never too late. Because challenges keep us fresh. See, there is a famous quote, a ship is safe in harbor, but that's not what ships are built for. Similarly, humans are not designed to be happy in status quo. Continue to remain dissatisfied so that you can become better and better, because challenges are what keep us fresh. Don't take every challenge as a problem, take every problem as a challenge. Because these are the doorways to excellence. These are the opportunities in disguise. Whatsoever challenges I have told you today, they are all opportunities for you to excel in life. एक बहुत फेमस चाइनीज प्रोवर्ब है, देखिए इसको क्या लिखा है. When the winds of change blow, some people build walls while others build windmills. It's up to you how you make use of the opportunities. I'm closing in 1 minute now. Things end, people leave, time passes, memories fade, feelings change, and you know what? Life goes on. Therefore, one day you will be just a memory for some people. Do your best to be a good one. And the last slide is, जिंदगी के रंगमंच पर अपना किरदार इतनी शिद्दत से निभाएं कि पर्दा गिरने के बाद भी तालियां बजती रहें, क्योंकि जिंदगी नहीं मिलेगी दोबारा. That's all what I wanted to say. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you and give you an overview of the challenges in higher education as well as in life. Because life lessons, I deliberately included because I thought that is something which can totally change your life. This is my cell number. This is my email ID. We can be always in touch. Give your feedback. And thanks a lot and all the best for the success of this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a motivating lecture. This is the first lecture of this program, and I think you have totally energized this program with your extremely motivating lecture, sir. It has been a pleasure listening to you. And once again, I feel pretty motivated, and I hope all participants here from all over the country share my sentiments on this. So I absolutely agree to it that, sir, we have to become facilitators of learning and stop being knowledge givers. With all the pressures each teacher is going through. And another very nice take from your talk is that we should not dwell on the problems. We should dwell more on the solutions. So thank you, sir. Now, the chat box is full of appreciations for your talk, sir. Would anyone like to ask sir about anything? You can unmute yourself and go ahead with any doubt you have.
Yes, ma'am. May I?
Yes, please. You are most welcome. Anybody, please introduce yourself also.
Yes, please introduce yourself.
And
Dr. Aarti Parab.
Yes, this is Dr. Aarti from Jain University, Bangalore.
Yes,
Uh,
ma'am.
Yeah, I just have one question. Like after I watched the video that sir played, I am really interested to know before industrialization, what was exactly the education system?
Before industrialization, see, even in industrialization also, if you remember, there have been various industrial revolutions from time to time. Currently, we are having industrial revolution 4 and 5. We had third, second, first, like that. And in all those periods, society changed, education system changed, keeping in view that. And much earlier, we have Gurukul, Guru, Shiksha, Parampara, all that. So Gurukul sort of system. So all that speaks of how society advanced and how the education system changed. If you remember my one slide, education is relevant only when it is able to serve the needs of the changing society.
Correct.
So as society has changed, our education system will have to change. I have not talked much about artificial intelligence. Maybe I will talk in digital transformation. There you will see how the
Sure.
education system is further going to change because of artificial intelligence.
Correct, sir.
So all these are indicative that education system is so dynamic. So we will have to be always ready for all embracing all these changes.
Got it, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? You're most welcome to have any questions.
May I, ma'am?
Any question,
Yes.
any comment, any suggestion, anything?
Dr. Pavan Kumar Shivaji, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. This is Dr. Pavan Kumar from Shivaji College and Botany Department, and it was a wonderful session. And I have almost noted some of the quotations that you have used in your presentation. They are wonderful, and I'm definitely going to implement them in class to make it more engaging. So I just wanted to say thank you, and it was a very
Thank you
nice,
very much. Thank
very
you.
nice,
I
very
think I
motivating.
have been to your college
Okay,
2-3
sir.
times in
Okay, sir.
chemistry programs, if I remember. Yes. Anyway,
Thank you, sir.
thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Dr. Pavan. Anyone else? I think everyone is super satisfied with your talk, sir.
Anyway, that raises their expectations. Somebody has very rightly written.
Yes, sir. Anyone would like to ask, sir, any doubts, any queries?
There will be other lectures they can ask later on also anytime
sir.
they want. And now I think
So I think
Sarita
Dr.
has also
Pasi
joined.
has.
I can see her. So she's already waiting. So please.
Thank you so much, sir. We hope to hear more from you in the upcoming sessions and lectures for more such talks. Is Dr. Pasi joined?
Yeah, I'm there.
She's there. I could see her.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, then
Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Has Dr. Tabassum joined, or should I? Where should I? I need to share my desktop screen. Welcome, Dr. Pase, for the second session of today, which will be hearing from ma'am about student diversity. Ma'am, just give me a moment to share my PowerPoint. Ma'am, is the screen visible?
Yeah, it is. It is visible.
So welcome participants to the second session of the NEP sensitization program, which is being hosted by the UGC-MMTTC, which is Malviya Mission Teacher Training Center. This center is under Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, University of Delhi. Guru Angad Dev Ji, the second of 10 Sikh Gurus, is the revered leader of this college. Let us pray in his lotus feet for motivation and education, enlightenment. The Malviya Mission Teacher Training Program is being held by our Honorable Prime Minister under the guidance of our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi Ji. And this is named after the Bharat Ratna Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya Ji. We welcome all participants from all over the country for this NEP sensitization program. The core team of GAD-MMTTC comprises of the chairman of the governing body of SGTB Khalsa College University, Padam Bhushan Sardar Tirlochan Singh Ji, Professor Ved Prakash Ji, former chairman of University Grants Commission, Professor A.K. Bakshi, founder VC PDM University Bahadurgarh, former VC UPRTOU Allahabad, and former executive director Tertiary Education Commission Mauritius. Professor Jaswinder Singh Ji, vice chancellor Eternal University Himachal Pradesh, and former principal of SGTB Khalsa College University of Delhi. The executive heads are Professor Guru Mohinder Singh Ji, Principal SGTB Khalsa College, Delhi University, and Professor Vimal Rar, who is the Program Director, UGC-MMTTC, Professor, Department of Chemistry, SGTB Khalsa College, Delhi University. Ma'am is also the member expert committee of MMT program under the UGC. We welcome you all for the NEP Orientation and Sensitization Program, Session 2, which is on today from the 3rd of September. The second session will be delivered by Professor Sarita Pase, Professor, Department of Chemistry, Zakir Hussain, Delhi College, University of Delhi, and she will be talking on student diversity and inclusive education. Ma'am, it is my honor to introduce you to the participants. Dr. Sarita Pase is the Professor of Chemistry at Zakir Hussain Delhi College and teaching organic chemistry for the past 28 years. She is a BSc, MSc from St. Stephen's College and PhD in Organic Chemistry from the University of Delhi. She is the recipient of KBL Mathur Gold Medal from the University of Delhi. Her area of research includes developing an environment-friendly approach to organic teaching laboratory and has published several papers in reputed national and international journals in these areas. She has completed minor and major projects from University of Delhi and UGC. She has also contributed e-content for CBSE International, for CBSE Project Udan and NCERT. She has been associated with Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center of MHRD, SGTB Khalsa College, University of Delhi for the past many years and has been involved in the conduction of large number of workshops and FDPs. She has trained faculty in the development of e-kits in this center and has also contributed e-content on many topics of organic chemistry for I welcome ma'am to the second session of this FDP, and I hope to be myself enlightened by your talk, ma'am. Over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Professor Viniti, for your introduction. And I would like to inform all the participants also that as mentioned here by Dr. Viniti, that I've been a part of this center for many years now. And as Dr. Vimal also initially said that you could all be part of this center, we would like to welcome all of you to this program and hence on to many other programs over here in whatever way you would like, whether you would like to collaborate with the center for any program. In that case, you can write a mail, or if you would like to be part of the organizing team, the way we all are. So you could also show your interest over here on the group, and we would try to accommodate you in the future programs, because we have a lot of programs to do, and so we would like to involve as many of you here as possible. Now, with these words, I would like to begin my session and just share my screen. Is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So here today I will be talking on this very important topic, which has become a part of the even the modules about the 10 modules of the NEP orientation and sensitization program, and the topic is the student diversity and inclusive education. So I will tell you what I will be talking about. This is basically, I will begin with the meaning of diversity in education. What is the meaning of inclusive education? What is the meaning of equality? And then comes the meaning of equity. And also, since we see a large number of students facing mental health issues due to various problems, so how do we handle that in the classes? Because those students are forming a very big diversified background in our classes. So how we handle those students? To handle all those issues, we need a learner-centric approach. And then how we embrace diversity to make it inclusive in our teaching. What are the various barriers to inclusive education? And what can we do at our level and at the level of our educational institution? So that is what I will be talking about. And majorly, I have included over here examples or my experiences as and when I have faced them in my teaching career. And I would also welcome any kind of suggestions over here that you people get or you people have over here, again, to make our teaching more inclusive. So let me begin. So let's begin with what does diversity mean to you? So if I say that diversity is basically a wide variety of something, whether it is in our country, whether it is in our state, or it is in our region or the small society that we are living in. So any kind of variety of anything is basically diversity. And talking of diversity in more detailed terms, it is the range of a lot of things like human differences, race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, social class, physical ability or attributes, religious or ethical value systems, the national origin where we come from, and obviously the political beliefs. And here I have depicted it in the form of our country, which has a wide variety of almost everything. So many things we have with the states, so many states that we have, so many languages that we have, so many religions that we have. So within our own country, we have a large amount of diversity. And since we have in our educational institutions the students from all over the country, so naturally this diversity and many more we observe in our classes. Now that we see what does diversity mean? Why is it so important? You know, it has always been existing in the classroom. So why are we talking about or including it as a module in the national education policy? So basically, if we talk of the concept of diversity, it basically means understanding that each individual is unique and that we need to recognize those individual differences that are there within each individual. And once we understand those differences that are crept within each individual, then that should then bring in acceptance and respect for those differences of the individual. So here, if I say that diversity is the art of thinking independently together, it wouldn't be wrong. And here, if you see, the background is of the colors of a rainbow, which we call as Vibgyor. We never ever say that the violet in the rainbow is looking nice, or the blue in the rainbow is looking nice, or the red in the rainbow is looking nice. And neither do we try to, when we are looking at the rainbow, neither do we try to see which color is looking nice, or why is the rainbow looking nice. We see at the rainbow, we look at the rainbow in totality. And that is how we have to see, look at diversity, the art of thinking independently together. So the students in the classroom may be independent, but yet they should be together. Together they make that class. So in a classroom, as I already said, the whatever we are seeing in the country, the same diversities we see in the classroom of ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, the socio-economic status, because the students may be widely differing in their economic status. Age, sometimes you see students who have dropped many years, or in some states the students are entering at a younger age. So there may be differences of 3 to 4 years in a student's age, and at this stage these 3 to 4 years may bring in lot of differences in the maturity level or the understanding level of the student. So sometimes you need to deal with them in a different way. Then of course the students are having different physical abilities, religious beliefs, political beliefs, or any other ideologies also. So diversity, I have explained. And what does inclusion mean? We talk of diversity and inclusion together normally. So what do they mean together? So basically, diversity is what exists, and inclusion is what must be done to embrace that diversity, the existence of that diversity within the classrooms. So these are the three words which are very commonly taken together. So education and inclusion, inclusion and diversity are used invariably used in the field of education, because the idea of inclusion and diversity instills among students and education body a sense of oneness, that it should instill a sense of oneness, that we are all together, we are all one. So if I would like to say that inclusive education basically should mean unity in diversity, it wouldn't be wrong. And here you can see that the national education policy, as I've highlighted, pays a lot of emphasis on the equity and inclusive education, both at the school level and at the higher education level, because it should begin from the school and should go on in the higher educational institutions also. And in the NEP orientation and sensitization program, it forms a separate module, because India's higher education sector has experienced massive expansion, so much so that it has become the second largest system in the world. I mean, we're proud of that. And this growth is accompanied by increasing student diversity in the system, in the education system. And naturally, when you have a large number of student diversity, it brings in an increasing share of students from the socially and economically disadvantaged groups, which we call as the SEDGs. We'll be hearing more about this when we talk of the holistic and multidisciplinary education. And according to the Ministry of Education, in the report of the Ministry of Education of 2020, as large a number as 57% of students are coming from these disadvantaged groups. And so we have to be empathetic towards the needs of such students. So these are the features of the diversity, equity, and inclusion. Basically, diversity, equity, and inclusion are essential components of a well-rounded and equitable education system. Due to the increasing diversity of students, populations, and the need for higher educational institutions to provide equal opportunities for all the students to succeed. And it has become a critical critical issue in education in recent years, as I said, because of the increasing number of students over here. However, implementing this, the equity in education is not that straightforward because of the biases that are existing between amongst us, and also because of the improper management practices that may be prevailing. And the teachers play a critical role in shaping the experiences and outcomes of their students. So we have to be really mindful of the strategies that we use in the classroom. And we know the features. We've just talked of the features. Then what is the importance? Why are we laying so much importance on the diversity and the equity and inclusion in the classroom? Because when we talk of inclusive classrooms, basically that adds value and purpose to teaching. It also brings love, respect, and equity for our students of our classrooms when they know that they are respected and not differentiated amongst others. It also builds the confidence of our nation builders when they know that they are part of the system. Now, to bring in that inclusion in the classrooms, we might have to, in fact, we will have to change some of the traditional ideas and our teaching methodologies. And when we do that, it would give a new direction and meaning to what already existed. So diversity has already been existing in the classrooms, but it has not been stressed upon so much. So we talking of this because I believe that children who learn together live together. If you look back and you check your phone, you have a lot of friends from your childhood or the friends from your school. So we always say that this is our school group and we are meeting our school group today, and this is our college group, and then this is our PG group, and so on. And many times we feel that the student, our friends with whom we've actually lived together are the ones, and they're very close to us, are our school friends, because we've actually learned together, because we lived together with them and we learned together with them. So they are our very close friends. And so therefore it is very important that that kind of bonding begins from early ages. So once again, coming to the concept of to understand equality and equity, it is very important to understand what is the meaning of inequality. So normally inequality doesn't come across as a very nice word, but here if you look over here at this tree, I have depicted it with this example of a tree laden with the fruits where there are unequal fruits on the two sides, and there are two children standing underneath that tree. And as you can very easily see that there is unequal distribution or unequal access of that fruit to both the children. So inequality basically means unequal access to resources and opportunities. And equality, when we try to equalize this over here, we have given them the same ladder, the length of the ladder is the same. So every person or community receives the exact same resources and opportunities, and we try to equalize the system. So here we have equalized by giving them the same ladder, which is our opportunity that we have given to them. But yet since the fruits are at a different height, so yet one of the child is not able to receive the fruits, and only one of them is equal to. So in spite of the fact that we have tried to equalize the opportunity or the resources, still they are not being able to get the same amount of fruits. So here comes in equity, which acknowledges that everyone doesn't start from the same place in life, and therefore we give them different resources. So here we have given a higher ladder to one of the children so that the child is able to reach the tree and get his hands on the fruit. So this is what is equity. And yet you can see that that child is still not able to get the fruits to the same extent because the fruits are not equally distributed. So here comes in social justice, where we use proactive methods to equalize the amount of opportunity that both of them get. So here we have used ropes to so that they have equal access. We have used logs of wood so that the tree is now standing upright, and both of them are able to get the same amount of fruits. So we have to understand very clearly the difference between equality, equity, and justice. And this slide very clearly explains, and I really like this, that normally, you know, when we give, supposing we are giving something to our students, maybe books or maybe anything, whatever we might be giving to them, and we feel very happy that we have given the same amount of resources to all the students. But if it is of not use to that student, like here we have equality is giving everyone a pair of shoes, so we feel very happy, सबको same चीज दे दी, सबको बराबर दिया हमने, तो किसी student में कोई difference नहीं रखा. But unless those shoes are fitting each child, they're of no use. आपने दे भी दिया but उसको fit ही नहीं है, तो उसके लिए कुछ काम के नहीं है वो shoes. So basically, equity is giving everyone a pair of shoes that fit. So you have to give resources in a manner that they are of use to that child to whom you are giving that resource. That is what is equity. So basically, it is about understanding each other and moving beyond simple tolerance to embracing and celebrating the rich dimensions of diversity contained within each individual. So basically, we have to understand what the other person needs. We don't have to tolerate each other, and we have to embrace and celebrate whatever dimensions of diversity. It could be in anything. We'll be talking about the various dimensions of diversity that may be existing. So this is a very famous quote by Verna Myers, who's a leading diversity and inclusion expert. She said that diversity is being invited to the party. So you may invite a large group of people to a party so as to have a diversified group. But inclusion is being asked to dance. So unless you make them feel a part of the party by making them to dance, till then it is of no use. So inclusion is when you actually make them a part. So she is also a very famous star of a TED talk where she stressed that promoting diversity and inclusion needs to go beyond words. And why she said that? Because she talked of an incident in that TED talk where the Harvard Law School, it's an Ivy League college, and it had only boys, male students up to 1953. And they admitted their first female student in 1953 to attain diversity. The women at that time quickly discovered that this Ivy League college had not provided any bathrooms for them. So then when it was brought to the notice, then the Harvard Law School quickly installed a toilet, single toilet at that time, in the closet in the basement of that building, which all female students had to share. So it's not that you just say something and you feel that you've done it. You have to actually, you have to go beyond words into action to actually prove that you're doing it. So these are the various dimensions of diversity that I was talking about. So personality is in the center, which is obviously everybody has a different personality. Then there are the internal dimensions, which is the age, race, gender, sexual orientation, etc., which I did talk of, ethnicity. And then there are the external dimensions, the geographical location where a person is coming from, the marital status. So there may be some children who may be married, you know, at that age. So we had a girl in my college days, in the third year, she got married. And so she had different compulsions at that time. She couldn't come on certain days. And so one has to be understanding of that compulsions that the person may be having. The parental status, the work experience, the appearance, the educational background, the income, the personal habits. So these are all the external dimensions, and they are all inherent there in our classrooms. And we all are very, now I think we all understand that these are the different diversities within our classrooms. And then there are the organizational dimensions, which at this stage, they are more for people who are working. So these all dimensions of diversity are still, we do understand that. But then there are also certain other dimensions of diversity within our classroom, which are not as obvious as the students with certain disabilities. And if supposing I drop the dis and I call it as abilities, because we have to understand that disability is not inability to do something. It's just a different ability, as it's very clear from the pictorial representation that I have shown. And such kind of children are very, very sensitive many times to the way we talk to them, to the way we address them. And we have to be very careful of that. And we have to be very careful how we label them. We used to call them as disabled children, and then we started calling them as children with disabilities. And then we started calling them as children with special or exceptional or educational needs. And then we started calling them as children with additional needs. But should we even do that? Because as I did say, that these children are sometimes very, very sensitive to the labeling that we give them. They don't like to be addressed as even special children. So, because labels are not meant for people, we have to understand that. And so we have to be very careful in the way we deal with them. For that, it is very important that we understand that what are those students with special or educational needs. So they may be the students who are having any kind of imperfect vision. So when we talk of, say, impairment of vision, that is the blind students, or the hearing impairment, तो वो तो बहुत obvious है. और उसके लिए colleges में बहुत सारे provisions भी किए जाते हैं. Like for blinds, we have, nowadays, we are very, very sensitive to that. And we have braille for them. We have audio cassettes for them for all the lessons. We have some students who will read out to them, some students who will write for them. So we have all that. We have all the signages also now in colleges with braille. But what about the students who have imperfect vision? They have vision, but not perfect vision. And they're very, very sensitive about it in the classroom. They wouldn't like anybody to know about that. Now, it is for us to understand that, if we get to know that. And so what can we do? Now, we feel, if we get to know that this is a child who has difficulty in focusing, we can just let that child, make sure that we let that child sit in the front rather than rotating seats. Many times we do that. But we can just make it comfortable for the child, or give him additional notes in a higher font, or make him sit in the front. Similarly, if student has hearing impairment, again, we can make the student sit in the front, or speak loudly, or give him some the recorded lessons in whatever way we can. Students may be having difficulty. Very often we have students who are not able to communicate properly. So we have to be very careful with the way we talk to them in front of a group. We can just call them separately. And if we need the child to repeat, we shouldn't be making it very obvious in front of a group. Then there may be children who are having difficulty in remembering, focusing, physical disability in walking. So in whatever way we can help those students, we should be doing it. Then students who have dyslexia, or any other neuro diversity, these are having neurodivergent diseases or conditions that children might be having. So these are the neurodiversities that exist in the society. And such kind of children may be having unique strengths and different perceptions. They may be, good in many other fields. So we have to identify that and be very careful in the way we deal with such children. Then there is children who are gifted and talented. And one may ask that gifted and talented children, we kya special needs wale bachche hain. So what are those gifted and talented learners? Now, these are the children who have the ability or potential to develop significantly ahead of their peers. They may be having ability in one or more academic subjects. They are very good in one or more academic subjects. They learn more quickly and independently than most students their age. So now they sometimes have very well developed vocabulary as well as advanced reading and writing skills. They are very motivated, especially in tasks which are challenging. And if they are not given challenging tasks, they really feel demotivated in the class. Like there was this one very good student in class 12 in school who was very good in mathematics. And the teacher complained about that child कि वो class में सोता रहता है. तो अब उस बच्चे से पूछा गया कि आप क्लास में क्यों सोते रहते हो, तो उसने कहा कि मेरे को तो आता है जो सब मैम पढ़ा रही होती हैं, तो मेरे को अच्छा whenever the teacher would just ask the student something, तो उसको पहले से ही आता था. It is very disturbing for a teacher कि student class में सो रहा है. So what the teacher did was she used to bring in a worksheet while she was teaching the other students. Naturally, औरों को तो normally पढ़ाना है, and she would bring slightly higher order questions for the child. कि जब तक मैं ये पढ़ा रही हूँ, आपको आता है तो आप ये worksheet करो. अब उस बच्चे के लिए भी चैलेंजिंग हो गया कि उसको भी कुछ एडिशनल क्वेश्चंस मिल गए. ही वुड फील वेरी मोटिवेटेड कि चलो मुझे कुछ करने को है. एंड द टीचर वुड कैरी ऑन. तो उसके बाद अलग ले जाके शी वुड सी कि उसने क्या किया है. सो इफ वी स्पॉट एनी सच चिल्ड्रन इन आवर क्लासरूम्स, वी शुड बी माइंडफुल ऑफ दैट कि वो उनको हम कुछ चैलेंजिंग टास्क दें क्लास में या क्लास के बाहर, सो दैट दे फील मोटिवेटेड टू come to college or to the classrooms. Then a diversified group of the class or some students in the class may be having special health problems. Now, what are those health problems? These are health issues that may persist for a long time, like heart diseases, diabetes, hypertension, asthma, epilepsy. Now, normally in the classroom, we don't, of that age group, we don't expect the children to be having heart diseases, diabetes, hypertension, etc. But आजकल ये चीजें because of our lifestyles, because of the eating lifestyles, and because of the predisposition to these diseases, many of our children may be having these diseases at an early age. तो अब हमें क्या करना है उसके लिए? For example, if a child has diabetes, तो अब I'm just giving an example. So for example, if supposing आपकी क्लास थोड़ी लंबी चल गई, आपने क्लास बच्चों को खाना खाने का टाइम नहीं मिला, and the class goes on for very long, the child may have low blood sugar depending upon उसका क्या शुगर का लेवल है. तो उसको कुछ खाने की जरूरत पड़ सकती है. The child may be feeling fidgety because उसको कुछ खाने की जरूरत है, उसका blood sugar level drop हो सकता है. या हो सकता है the student might have taken insulin if supposing is on insulin and thinking कि अब क्लास खत्म हो जाएगी तो he'll have food, और आपने क्लास लंबी चला दी. So you have to be mindful of such children in the classrooms. The student may be having asthma, उसको हो सकता है nebulization की जरूरत हो. तो अगर हमें पता ही नहीं है तो we will not be able to recognize these things in the class. We have to be mindful of the children having these kind of, because these are the things that we face in the classroom many times. So we have to be mindful of these things if the students are having in our classrooms. So the student and the child may not be very comfortable saying this in front of the whole group. So if we are able to understand the needs of such children and we see that they are in any discomfort, we might be able to help the children tide over that. Then the children may be having any impairment interfering with normal functioning of the nerve, joints, muscles, or limbs leading to physical impairment. For example, if the child has problem in the joints, उसको सीढ़ियां चढ़ने में problem है. Normally the lifts and all are not meant for students. Now, if we know that and the student has to climb the stair, has to go up, so we can make provisions for that child to use the lifts if this child has such kind of problems. So these different kinds of empathetic behavior of ours will go a long way in helping the children. Then there may be children having special educational needs in context like socially maladjusted learners. These are the children who are abandoned, neglected, and abused, whether physically, verbally, or sexually. We may have instances of such kind of children. It's not uncommon. And these are the children who are not behaving normally in the classroom. They're fighting with others. So we have to understand that and see in whatever way I have listed out various ways in which we can help different children. Then children coming from background of extreme poverty or neglect. There are children who are coming from a very modest background, and there are children who are coming from very rich background. Also children who are coming in rich, big cars, and children who are coming from modest backgrounds. So we have to be mindful, like what happened once I was taking my laboratory classes, and I had told the students to bring their files covered, and एक बच्चे की फाइल covered नहीं थी, तो मैंने बोला कि फाइल क्यों नहीं covered है, तो he said मेरे पास पैसे नहीं थे. So I suddenly realized that yes, I have to be mindful of that, and I told the children कि आप लैब से न्यूज़पेपर ले लो और आप उसको चढ़ा लो. So in future, so that I don't even have this, because it's not very easy for a child to say that he doesn't have the money to buy a cover. So, you know, and we have children of these kind of backgrounds. वैसे तो खैर बहुत सारे colleges में financial aid की committees होती हैं, but every child can't be given the financial aid. So in whatever way we can help. So from the next time, I always tell in my class कि आपको फाइल अगर पुरानी पड़ी हुई है विद लार्ज नंबर ऑफ पेजेस, आप वो फाइल यूज कर सकते हो. कवर आपको जो भी कागज अच्छा मिले घर में आप वो चढ़ा सकते हो, नहीं है तो आप न्यूज़पेपर चढ़ा सकते हो, नहीं तो आप लैब से न्यूज़पेपर लेके चढ़ा सकते हो. दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स वी कैन डू. जैसे अब हम अगर आई हैव बीन थिंकिंग ऑफ दिस कि हम ये कर सकते हैं कि जो बच्चों को जरूरत है अगर, तो हम लैपटॉप उनको कॉलेज से दिलवा दें, या स्मार्टफोन्स की जरूरत है किसी प्रोजेक्ट के लिए, तो हम घर में हमारे पुराने, हम लोग अपना पुराना नया फोन लेते हैं तो पुराने फोन्स पड़े रह जाते हैं, एंड देन दे become bad. So we can have a repository of these kind of things in the college where these kind of children can be helped in this way. Or we have a collection of books. अब इतने सारे हमको book dealers books देके जाते हैं, तो अगर हम उन बुक्स को जो हमको नहीं चाहिए हैं, हम उसकी एक लाइब्रेरी डिपार्टमेंटल लेवल पे बना दें, एंड दिस काइंड ऑफ चिल्ड्रन हु नीड दिस कैन बी हेल्प्ड विद दैट. So and why do we need to educate children with special needs? Because learning knows no bounds, and children with special needs also have a right to be educated alongside others who do not have those needs. Basically, we have to equalize. This is what is equity and social justice, because हम उनको अलग categorize नहीं करना चाहते हैं, because they have the right to be educated, because they want to feel normal, that they are normal. And Mahatma Gandhi, she has also said that by education, I mean an all-round drawing out the best in child and man with respect to body, mind, and spirit, because literacy is not the end of education or even the beginning. So we have to be mindful of that. And in the understanding of inclusion in education has transcended the assumption that inclusion is about students with special needs. But no, it is not only about the students with special needs. It concerns the inclusion of all children. So all basically means all. So this is the Global Education Monitoring Report by UNESCO, which says that inclusion is about treating all learners equally and fairly. So all basically means all. So basis of education then become A, B, C, where A is for acceptance, accepting everybody, and then making them a part of the system, making them belonging, that they belong here. And then eventually they become part of the community. So basis of education become accepting all kinds of children, make them feel belonged to that group, and then eventually they form the part of the community. And these are the features of inclusive education. Basically, we have to recognize, I've already talked of all of these, I've just brought them all together over here. Basically, it means recognizing and accepting diversity, because every learner is special in one or the other way. That is what we have to understand, that every learner has some or the other quality. And education is meant for all, because education is the fundamental right of an individual. And for bringing education for all, we might have to use the flexible content, flexible approaches, and different teaching strategies. And we have to understand that inclusion is a continuous process, not the end or the beginning. It is not an achieved state or product. It is a continuous process which will go on. And not only the school, it's not just the responsibility of the school, but the society and community also have to play a major role in this. And here in this slide, you can see this is the process of inclusion, which over here, to begin with, rests the whole responsibility on the education system, which has to be equipped and ready to handle diversity by various methodologies, whether they use flexible modified curriculum, whether they use different teaching and learning methods. They might have to adapt those, they might have to augment those, they might have to alter those, they might have to alter their assessment methods. They can use the help of the peers, the parents, or the community. So basically, all that they have to do to make the education body a responsive and a child-friendly environment. And the teacher's role over here has to be very, very interactive, it's a continuous role and a very supportive role, because the teachers have to cross the divide from here to there. And here is an example to celebrate the diversity in the classrooms. So Roshni, who was teaching the catering program to the learners, always there are a mixed group of learners from various backgrounds. And as the Parsi New Year was approaching, she used that as a theme and created different menus around the Parsi theme. And then when she did that, this opened up a discussion about the Parsi culture, and everybody enjoyed doing that. So this is what we could do in our classrooms. So there are so many festivals approaching in the classrooms every few days, that we can just talk about that and involve our students, because they may be students from that background. Like Basant Panchami, at the time of Basant Panchami, the students just asked me कि मैम आप हमको छुट्टी दे दो. तो मैंने कहा आपको पता है बसंत पंचमी क्या है, हम येलो क्यों पहनते हैं, हम येलो क्यों, what all we do. So I said find out about that and wear yellow, and so they all found it very, very interesting when we did that. So similarly, we can do this with so many festivals in our country that we have, so many occasions. हमारे इतने सारे different special days आते हैं, हम उनको celebrate करें. We can do all that in our classrooms to engage the whole class. And these are a few suggestions that we can follow in our classrooms. We should be non-judgmental and treat all our learners with respect and dignity. Everybody wants respect in the classroom. We should challenge any direct or indirect discrimination, any kind of stereotyping, prejudices, harassment, bullying, which are happening many times in the classroom. Which could be due to anything, किसी की appearance को लेके, किसी की height को लेके, किसी की बोलने के style को लेके. These are the things which are very commonly happening in the classrooms. We should not have any favorite learners or give more attention to some than others. Now, for example, how normally I would feel that मैं तो ऐसा कभी भी नहीं करती हूँ. I don't do that. But supposing हमारे अब कुछ पढ़ाते हुए हमें कुछ टाइम हो गया, हमें पता है हमारी क्लास में कौन अच्छा बोलता है. Now, my friend from another branch said कि हमारा ये प्रोग्राम है और हमें एक अच्छे ओरेटर की जरूरत है, या हमें एक अच्छे क्विज मास्टर की जरूरत है. तो आपको पता है ये बच्चा अच्छा बोलता है, ये बच्चा अच्छा कंडक्ट कर पाएगा, आप उसी को बार बार प्रमोट करते हो. Now, there may be others who may be introverts but could speak well. So it is for us to find out किस बच्चे में क्या capability है और कैसे हमने औरों को भी promote करना है. And we are not giving more advantage to one than the other. Then we have to also see that some particular groups are not offended. For example, faiths or religion. कई बारी unknowingly हम लोग किसी एक faith को promote करते हैं या हम बात करते हैं उसके बारे में. We have to be very careful about how we behave in the classrooms. We should not impose our own attitudes, values and beliefs upon others. Normally हम वही बोलते हैं जो हम होते हैं. We have to see that we are not just imposing our own attitudes, values and beliefs in the classroom. We have to be very impartial. Then other opportunities for this could include that we celebrate the local and the national events, as I said already. We have to be very careful about discussing issues such as their perceptions of disability, older people, different races, because बहुत बारी क्या होता है कि बच्चे जो आजकल सोशल मीडिया पे देखते हैं वही उनके बिलीव्स बन जाते हैं. So अगर हमारी, while we are having in the classrooms, whenever such opportunities arise, we should see that we remove the myths around these issues. Then we have to draw upon the experience of learners within our group while embracing differences. तो हमारे अपने ग्रुप में इस तरीके की डिस्कशंस हो तो हमको आपस में बच्चों क्या सोचते हैं किसी चीज के बारे में, we can talk about that so that their myths, any differences that they have are removed. Then we should mix different learners during group and paired activities so that they become comfortable with each other. As I said, children who learn together live together. So we should mix different learners in the activities, and then visiting museums and cultural buildings, I already mentioned. Then very often we say that आजकल बच्चे motivated नहीं हैं क्लास में, आजकल बच्चों का attention span बहुत कम है. तो वो एक क्लास का एक ऐसा डाइवर्स ग्रुप बन जाता है, बिकॉज वो भी एक डाइवर्सिटी है हमारी क्लासरूम्स की, जो बच्चे मोटिवेटेड नहीं है. सो फॉर दैट व्हाट कैन वी डू? वी नीड टू बी अवेयर ऑफ व्हाट मोटिवेट्स आवर लर्नर्स, बिकॉज we need to know what our learners are expecting from us, as what we expect to deliver might be different from what they expect to receive. तो अगर उनको, आप अपनी तरफ से बहुत मेहनत कर रहे हैं क्लासरूम में, लेकिन अगर बच्चों को वो मिल ही नहीं रहा जो उनको चाहिए है, then they will always blame you, because passive learners will blame the teacher कि टीचर ने अच्छा नहीं पढ़ाया. So what do we do about that? इसमें हम कर क्या सकते हैं? हम तो अपनी तरफ से मेहनत कर रहे हैं. So what I normally do in my classrooms, after a few 2, 3, 4 classes, जब मुझे लगता है कि I'm trying to get across to my students, I ask them कि आपको समझ में आ रहा है? आप क्या expect करते हो मेरे से? What do you want me to do? So sometimes the students have told me, ma'am, you're going very fast. So sometimes they say कि मैम आप questions और कराइए. कभी वो बोलते हैं हमको notes दीजिए. तो बच्चे बताते हैं कि क्या चाहिए, मैम आप क्वेश्चन पेपर्स के क्वेश्चंस कराइए. So if we put that what they want from us into the teaching, in what we are teaching, naturally they will become interested. Whatever level of motivation our learners have will be transformed for better or worse by what happens during their experience with you. तो जो आप भी याद करिए, बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कि मैंने केमिस्ट्री इसलिए ली क्योंकि मेरा एक टीचर बहुत अच्छा था, या मुझे ये सब्जेक्ट इसलिए समझ में आता है बिकॉज आई हैड दिस वेरी गुड टीचर. वेरी ऑफन वी फील दैट. तो इसीलिए अगर हम अपनी तरफ से मेहनत कर ही रहे हैं, बट इफ वी आर नॉट एबल टू डिलीवर व्हाट दे वांट, नेचुरली हमारी मेहनत का फायदा नहीं है. सो वी शुड डू व्हाट एक्चुअली मोटिवेट्स आवर लर्नर्स. सो टू मोटिवेट आवर लर्नर्स, हम these are few tips that we can follow. Ask open questions. Now what are open questions? These are the questions that begin with who, what, when, where, why, rather than closed questions which leading to just yes or no for an answer. अब बच्चे को पता है कि मैम ने कुछ पूछा, मैंने yes बोला, तो अगर गलत है तो no होगा आंसर. लेकिन अगर आपने ओपन एंडेड क्वेश्चन पूछे तो the child will be active in the class, will at least try to listen. Don't create intense competition in the class ताकि बच्चे demotivated ना हो जाए. Give ongoing constructive feedback, praise and encouragement. Everybody wants praise and encouragement. तो अगर किसी ने कुछ गलत भी किया है, outrightly we shouldn't reject. ठीक है, ये ऐसे किया है, ये ऐसे better हो सकता है. Make tasks interesting, practical and relevant. Give realistic targets. अब कभी-कभी हम इतना सारा काम दे देते हैं बच्चों को, इतना कुछ फाइल्स में लिखने को दे देते हैं कि बच्चे कुछ भी नहीं करके लाते. Now what is the idea behind that? कि इतना देंगे, इतना सारा काम दिया है, 4 चीजें लिखने को दिया, तो 1 तो लिख के लाएंगे, 2 तो लिख के लाएंगे. बट आप खुद सोचिए, अगर आपको कोई बहुत ज्यादा काम मिल जाएगा तो आपका मन ही नहीं करता उसका करने का कि कभी भी कर लेंगे, खत्म तो नहीं होगा. So we should always give realistic targets to our students, not something which cannot be achieved. Support those who need in whatever way. Like I said, किसी को पुराने लैपटॉप्स की जरूरत है, किसी को फोन्स की जरूरत है, बुक्स की जरूरत है, एंड मेनी अदर थिंग्स which we can help them in whatever way. Use icebreakers and energizers to get learners active. कुछ introverts होते हैं, तो उनके लिए हमको कुछ icebreakers की जरूरत है. Vary your teaching and assessment approaches to reach all learners, like I said initially. Then there may be students who have varying attention span, which is the amount of time that a learner can concentrate without being distracted. आजकल बच्चों का attention span बहुत ही कम हो गया है. So if you find your learners losing focus, ask them if anything is distracting them. Sometimes it might be something as small, sometimes it might be something which is as small as the child. बच्चे बहुत fidgety हैं तो उनको गर्मी लग रही हो सकती है, तो हम अगर खिड़की दरवाजा खोल सकते हैं, we can do that. या कभी कभी ठंड लग रही है तो they will not be able to focus, तो खिड़कियों को बंद कर दें, दरवाजे को बंद कर दें. So it so happened that once, I came back after the break, and the students were not able to pay attention to what I was teaching. तो मैंने बोला कि क्या बात है, इतना हिलडुल रहे हो, why are you not paying attention? And they said कि मैम हमारी लैब पिछले वाली इतनी लंबी चल गई थी कि उनका लंच ब्रेक खत्म हो गया था उसमें. They did not have a lunch break, so they were all feeling hungry. सुबह से आए हुए थे बच्चे, दूर दूर से आते हैं, खाना नहीं खाया, लंबी लैब थी. So I said, okay, I gave them 15 minutes break. I said, I'll go, I'll come back after 15 minutes. You have your lunch. Oh, they were so happy. I gave them a break. And uske baad, when I came back, they were really energized. Kha chuke the, khush the, because I had given them that break. And then they were energized too. They were receptive to what I was teaching them. So we have to be careful, mindful of these things. So when delivering our sessions, try and use short tasks. और अगर कुछ लंबा पढ़ाना है, we should try and break those down into 20 minutes for each because of the varying attention spans. Use opinion poll in the classroom. What do you think? What is your opinion on this? Complete the following. Let them complete sentences. उनको आदत डालिए इस चीज की that you will leave the sentence incomplete. You will ask them so that then they will remain attentive in the class. A very big problem, as I said earlier, is the mental health of learners, which is a big challenge in the higher education system. So what is it that the higher education system has to do? Now, they have to create awareness, understanding, and education about these issues, about the mental health issues, which are very important. आजकल आधे से ज़्यादा बच्चों को कुछ mental health problems होती हैं. आजकल school से ही start हो जाती हैं mental health problems. So they should hold various workshops, seminars, and awareness camps, both for the teachers and the students, so that the students understand that this is something normal. हमको इसके लिए क्या measures लेने चाहिए, and the teachers also know how they have to deal with this. Then there should be counseling services on the campus, like we should have trained professionals, psychologists or therapists to deal with this problems. वैसे तो आजकल बहुत colleges में हैं. Then we should have student support centers. What are those student support centers? Which help other students for any kind of thing like academic facilities, रहने की जगह है, any kind of financial problems हैं, उसके लिए any kind of support that the students need. Those are the student support centers which provide. Then peer support programs. Now, what are those? We should have trained student volunteers, because बच्चे एक दूसरे से ज़्यादा समझते हैं एक दूसरे की बात को. So trained student volunteers who provide assistance and empathy to their fellow beings. Mental health promotion, that is those, we should have various wellness programs that promote healthy lifestyle. What are the healthy lifestyle choices? Eating habits, the physical activity करनी चाहिए बच्चों को, क्या करना चाहिए, to provide information about all that. So there should basically be training and education for the staff, because equipping us, the educators, with the knowledge and skills to recognize and respond to the mental health concerns helps create a supportive environment for learners. जब हमको पता है कि हम क्या कर सकते हैं, so that will be very supportive for the learners. And here again, the role of teachers is very important. Why? Because though we have counselors, but they may not be available all the time. बिकॉज नॉर्मली काउंसलर्स आते हैं हफ्ते में एक बारी या हफ्ते में 2 बारी या 3 बारी, दे आर एंड दैट टू फॉर एन आवर, दे आर नॉट प्रेजेंट देयर ऑल द टाइम. And even if the counselor is there, but the students may not go to them for the fear of being judged, because there are a lot of myths associated with the mental health issues. और तो बच्चे कई बार उनके होने पर भी नहीं जाएंगे उनके पास. They might like to go to the teachers because of their comfort level with teachers. So it is very important that the teachers are able to catch those flag signs कि उन्हें पता तो चले कि भी क्या है बच्चों को, जो बच्चों को ये कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो रही है. And so these are the flag signs that the child may be exhibiting. The child may be depressed or in a sad mood, is not paying attention in the class. There is less retention, is not able to retain what we are teaching. There is loss of motivation or interest in the activities. The child may be shouting at others unnecessarily, feeling of low self-esteem, feeling hopeless and helpless, feeling irritable, intolerant of others. किसी से बात करने का मन ही नहीं है, कोई कुछ कहता है तो बच्चे चिल्लाना शुरू कर देते हैं. Loss of sleep, too much sleep, eating less or more than usual, sleeping more or less than usual, dip in energy levels, forgetfulness, and maybe many others. These are the normal common flag signs that the child may be exhibiting. Now to understand कि बच्चा normal से different है, behave कर रहा है, हमें पहले ये तो पता होना चाहिए कि बच्चा normally कैसे behave करता है. और आजकल टाइम इतना कम होता है कि हम बच्चों को जान ही नहीं पाते. So it is very important that we understand our children. How do we do that? We have to understand the interest and aptitude of our students. For that, we can use the introductory class to make them speak about their hobbies. अब normally क्या होता है कि जब बच्चे पहले 1-2 दिन तक वो पढ़ने की मूड में ही नहीं होते, बहुत कम बच्चे आ रहे होते हैं, सारी स्ट्रेंथ नहीं है, तो हम कहते हैं अब हम क्या पढ़ाएं. And we can use the beginning classes to make them speak about themselves, about their hobbies. आप क्या चाहते हो, क्यों आए हो यहाँ पर, क्यों लिया है ये कोर्स, आप उनके बारे में जाने. तो हमने फर्स्ट क्लास में ही यूज कर लिया था उनको. हमने ऐसे मजाक किया that okay, the teachers are ragging the students, like that we said. So we tried that they speak about themselves. Then we can use the freshers welcome so that they talk about themselves कि उन्होंने क्यों ये कोर्स लिया, अपने बारे में बताएं. या ग्रुप डिस्कशंस होती हैं कई बार क्लास में. बच्चों को कई बार पढ़ने का मूड ही नहीं होता, वो बोलते हैं कि नहीं मैम आज पढ़ने का मूड नहीं. तो रादर देन लीविंग देम वी कैन पढ़ने का मूड नहीं है तो आप बातें नॉर्मल बातें करें, सो दैट वी गेट टू नो कि बच्चों के इंटरेस्ट क्या है या उन्हें कुछ प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं है. एंड देन इन्वॉल्व देम इन वेरियस स्ट्रेस बस्टर एक्टिविटीज लाइक मेडिटेशन, योगा. अब कई बार बच्चे उसमें भी थोड़ा हेजिटेंट होते हैं. आजकल तो वैसे योगा का कोर्स भी है, बट बच्चे उसमें भी हेजिटेंट, कई बार टाइम भी नहीं होता है. एंड बच्चे बहुत टेक्नोलॉजी savvy हैं, so we can make use of the online classes to make them feel comfortable. So we started this online classes at the time of COVID. We continued that online classes. या अगर नहीं है आपके कॉलेज में ये प्रोविजन तो बहुत सारे ग्रुप्स होते हैं जहाँ पे ऑनलाइन क्लासेस होते हैं. You can introduce them to that online yoga, online meditation, because that will relieve them of their stress. It is very important to engage them in at least one more activity beyond classroom, like playing a game, join a book club, dancing, singing, playing football, any kind of these activities. Because जब बच्चे फुटबॉल को किक करते हैं तो उनका बहुत सारा स्ट्रेस उसमें निकल जाता है. जब एक रैकेट को शटल कॉक को रैकेट से हिट करते हैं तो उसका स्ट्रेस निकल जाता है. राग लेते हैं, आलाप लेते हैं, उसमें स्ट्रेस निकल जाता है. तो if they are engaged in these kind of activities, it will release a lot of the stress. Then those who don't want to do that, we can involve them in extension, outreach or extracurricular activities. अब हम कहेंगे उसके लिए टाइम का है, पर आजकल तो ये सब चीजें, अगर हमने ये सब चीजें कराई, it kills actually 3-4 birds with the same stone. आजकल हमको NAC के लिए भी ये सारी एक्टिविटीज चाहिए हैं, the extension, outreach, extracurricular activities. Secondly, when we do this, we are helping the environment, like we did this tree plantation drive by the students of our college. So we are helping the environment. Plus the students bond with each other. तो टीम स्पिरिट बिल्डअप होती है. आप उनको 2 टीम्स में बांट दीजिए या कई टीम्स में बांट दीजिए, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट, एंड देन लेट्स सी हु इज डूइंग बेटर. उसके बाद में जैसे ये यमुना क्लीनिंग ड्राइव हमारे कॉलेज के स्टूडेंट्स ने करी थी, तो बच्चे उसके बाद में ये कोलाजेस भी उन्होंने नहीं बनाया। आजकल बच्चे इतने अच्छे अच्छे कोलाजेस बनाते हैं, इतने अच्छे अच्छे वीडियोस बनाते हैं. It is helpful in so many ways. Then, the learning can go outside the classroom, where the students here, our botany students, were taken for field trips to Manali and Rohtang Pass, where they studied the vegetation which grows at that higher altitudes. Now, in chemistry, it's not even part of the curriculum, but we always take our students for the outgoing students. We take them for industrial visit. Here, we took them to Mawana Sugar Factory. So another year, we took them to Bahadurgarh Glass Factory. This year, again, we are planning to take them to maybe, some research facility, so as to expose them to what's going on around the world. So they learn about कि क्या हो रहा है, एक करियर प्रोस्पेक्ट खुलता है. अब अगर शुगर फैक्ट्री में गए तो हम कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स पढ़ाते ही हैं, तो उसके बारे में अवेयरनेस हो जाती है उनकी. तो आप कहीं पे हिस्टोरिकल, जब हिस्ट्री के हैं तो हिस्टोरिकल बिल्डिंग्स पे ले जा सकते हैं. आर्किटेक्चर के हैं तो जहाँ का आर्किटेक्चर अच्छा है, सो टेक देम आउट. दैट विल ऑल्सो हेल्प देम टू बॉन्ड. प्लस again, it releases a lot of stress of the students. Then, involve them in research. This is thinking out of the box. So involve them in summer projects. So every year I involve a small, कुछ academically oriented होते हैं जिनको बाकी चीजें नहीं करनी है. So we involve them in small projects related to our field. So summer projects में every year we involve different group of students. So और अगर आप जैसे साइंसेस में तो हमें लैब की जरूरत होती है, बहुत सारी फील्ड्स में तो आपको लैब की जरूरत नहीं है. सो यू कैन जस्ट गिव देम एन आइडिया. आजकल तो घर बैठे बैठे भी वो प्रोजेक्ट्स बना सकते हैं. एंड देन आफ्टर दैट यू कैन प्रिपेयर देम फॉर द फ्यूचर बाय मेकिंग देम राइट अ रिपोर्ट. सो गिव देम सम पेपर्स जो उससे वो अपनी बिल्कुल प्रोजेक्ट उस वे में लिख के लाते हैं जिस तरीके से एक पेपर है. And if supposing the idea was good or you've been able to handle it well, then maybe, you can even go on to a research paper, which we all require nowadays. Then a very important aspect of this handling these issues in the classroom is the mentor-mentee scheme. आजकल तो वो requirement भी है. हमारे कॉलेज में तो हमने बहुत साल पहले शुरू करी थी, but आजकल तो NAAC की भी एक requirement है, where we assign, like we have our new students who have come in. So we assign that kitne students are divided by the number of teachers. So every teacher is assigned, say, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 students to us. And then that student will continue with that teacher for the next 3 years, now 4 years. So the student has a very good bonding with the teacher that way. And also we have students जो पुराने वाले students होते हैं, so they can act as student mentors for such children. And बच्चे हमको बताएं ना बताएं, कई बार वो students को बता देते हैं. And what do we have to do? We have to basically make them feel that we are available for them all the time, so that they know that there is someone for them. आजकल इतने suicide cases होते हैं, लेकिन अगर बच्चे को ये पता है, उसकी बॉन्डिंग है अपने स्टूडेंट मेंटोर्स के साथ या अपने टीचर्स के साथ, तो उसको ये पता है कि हमारे पास देयर इज समवन विद whom we can share whatever problem is there. So you have to give that comfort level. You can have these meetings in a group, like I've shown here, in a group, so that they talk about various issues. They hear the views of other students also, कि उनके क्या views हैं, and they'll come up with their own problems. Or you may have a one-to-one meeting, you may have an online meeting, because you have to give them that comfort level कि हम available हैं आपके लिए कभी भी आपको जरूरत है. Or you can take them outside. And what do we do during that? How to break the ice? Basically, we have to tell them to talk about what expectations they have from self, from college, from society. Make them identify issues around them. There may be a lot of issues like peer pressure, parental pressure, sibling rivalry, लैंग्वेज बैरियर. आजकल तो इतने सभी स्टेट से बच्चे आते हैं तो लैंग्वेज बैरियर होता है. आज ही हमारे पास एक स्टूडेंट आया जिसने बोला मुझे बहुत ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम है, मैं कैसे सब्जेक्ट चूज करूं, एंड सो ऑन. इट वाज नॉट द मेंटी बट जनरली अ स्टूडेंट केम. तो लैंग्वेज बैरियर एक बहुत बड़ा इशू है. कॉलेज एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में किसी को प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है, लाइब्रेरी में प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है, समवन माइट बी हैरेसिंग देम, सो यू हैव टू आस्क देम. And mentor-mentee scheme is a very important aspect of that. Solutions to such things can be found by engaging them outside classrooms and ask them to work on problem areas. And if they face any issues, you have to tell them that we can do it together. Treat them with small incentives. And if the problem is much bigger, consult a psychologist. These are the mentee online meeting which I hold with my students. अगर college में time नहीं मिलता होता तो हम शाम को कर लेते. You might have to manage the learning environment. You need to manage the learning environment to promote and encourage individual and group learning, such that the seating, seating arrangements can have a big impact on learning. Normally, you would feel that आपकी class में जब बच्चे आके बैठते हैं, वो normally उसी जगह पे आके बैठना prefer करते हैं because they enjoy learning from that. Or sometimes we become like कि अब यहीं पे क्यों बैठते हो, अपनी seats change करो. Now, if they're comfortable sitting there, they are not disturbing you, let them be there. Let them sit with their own friends. Now, sometimes it so happens, जैसे हमने एक बार एक experiment करा था, हमने pairs में कराया. So they formed pairs with each other, with the whomever they were comfortable with. Now, my co-teacher said, क्यों इन्हीं के साथ क्यों करना है, अपने pair group friend pairs change करो. Well, I really don't think there is any need. If they are comfortable with the friends with whom they're doing, let it be. We shouldn't be so fixed on our ideas कि हमको करना ही है. Let them be. हाँ, आप pair mix भी group कर सकते हो, but not if they are not happy with that. Let them be in the way they are. Getting them to work with others can sometimes, it may be helpful. It might sometimes hinder them. If they're not getting along, it might hinder their learning. So we don't have to be very fixed on this कि नहीं करना ही है. Ways of including our learners. This is a very important approach for inclusive teaching. It could just be by using their names when they arrive and when talking to them, using eye contact and speaking personally to them during each session. अब कभी कोई student नहीं आया, तो मैंने क्लास में पूछा कि क्यों नहीं आए, तो पता चला वो लड़की बीमार थी बहुत दिनों से. तो जब वो आई, I just asked her, how are you? And she was so happy, her eyes just brightly lit up. So, you can, just have a personal contact with them. Other ways to promote inclusion include identifying wherever modifications or changes are needed to equipment or activities. जैसे एक student को height कम थी, तो उसको thermometer नहीं दिख रहा था, तो मैंने एक stool रखवा दिया ताकि वो उसको दिख जाए thermometer easily. So these kind of things, wherever you can do a small change, using a wide range of teaching, learning, and assessment approaches based upon learner needs. You might have to adapt the assessment, like providing extra time if it is required. बच्चों को लिखने में problem होती है. Dictionaries, if the dictionaries are required. Translating material is required. Layout, positioning of the environment, as I said. Providing any kind of additional support. And alternative but equally valid methods of assessment may be required. So basically, it all points to the need of learner-centric education. Professor Bakshi has already talked of that, and maybe it will be talked of later on also. So basically, we need to have a learner-centric approach where, because better engagement of learners leads to better retention of learned information. So there is a very famous quote by the Chinese reformer Confucius, who said that I hear, I forget, I see, I remember, I do, I understand. तो कई बार क्या होता है कि हम क्लास में हम बहुत खुश होते हैं, हमारी क्लास में बहुत ज्यादा डिसिप्लिन है, हम बोल रहे हैं, बच्चे चुपचाप सुन रहे हैं, बट अगर क्लासरूम इज क्वाइट, then there may be boredom and anxiety in the classroom, stress, boredom. So the classrooms should be very interactive, where we talk of the content which is relevant to the lives of children. We can always pick up such examples, use such experiences, and the atmosphere is energetic. So the students will learn easily. That is what we have to use. And the learner-centric education employs a large number of methods like case studies, experiential, project-based, problem-based learning, collaborative learning, flipped classroom model. तो जैसे डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द सब्जेक्ट, अब मैनेजमेंट में, लॉ में बहुत सारे केस स्टडीज एग्जांपल्स होते हैं. कई सब्जेक्ट्स में नहीं है, वहां पे एक्सपीरियंशियल या प्रोजेक्ट बेस्ड लर्निंग होगी या प्रॉब्लम बेस्ड लर्निंग. डिपेंडिंग अपॉन योर सब्जेक्ट, you can employ various methods of teaching. Basically, you have to use design activities and assignments which challenge the student's mind, which enhance creative thinking ability, which improve analytical skills and give students more control over their learning, because the teacher's role is more of a learner-centered guide and facilitator, like the conductor for the orchestra, like a coach for a team, and like a gardener who prepares the land and lets the plant to grow. Here, the community has a big role to play, like we have parent-teacher association in the school. Similarly, we can involve the parents over here. And this can bring changes in the attitude of community towards the students. It can also support them in financial as well as psychological way when they know that everybody is there with them together. What are the benefits of inclusive education? We've talked of this earlier. Basically, it helps individual child development and academic performances. As I said, classmates bond and build friendships, and this will naturally then help in the participation in co-curricular and extra. बच्चे groups में करते हैं ये सब चीजें. So if they are having, they are bonding with each other, then there will be better participation, and then naturally the better sense of belonging, better behavior. This provides opportunities to learn about and accept individual differences, lessening the impact of harassment and bullying, which eventually is useful for teachers, administrators, and organization. Economic benefits bhi hain, leads to higher participation rates as well as completion rates, higher simple and functional. Naturally, अगर पढ़ाई complete करेंगे तो literacy rate बढ़ जाएगा, employment rate बढ़ जाएगा, बच्चे independent ज़्यादा हो जाएंगे, productive हो जाएंगे in later years, and it is obviously economically more viable as the expense involved in transporting and accommodating learners into special schools, especially in rural areas, is very, very high. What are the barriers to inclusive education, and can we break through? Again, we have talked of these. There are attitudinal barriers, physical barriers, inappropriate curriculum, untrained teachers, organization of the education system, external barriers like location, school बहुत दूर है, enrollment कम है, educational barrier, stigmatization है कि अब इस उम्र में भी क्या पढ़ने जाओगे, लड़कियां क्या पढ़ने जाती हैं, economical condition किसी की ठीक नहीं है. These are all the barriers. How can we make our educational institutions inclusive? So basically, we have to change the attitudes. As I said, we have to change the infrastructure. We have to change the curriculum. What can we do? How can we make a difference? The key here is journey. We have to consider this as a journey and not just an isolated plan or initiative, because everybody likes journeys. Progress in DEI, in diversity, equity, inclusion, shouldn't have a destination or a finish line कि हमको यहाँ पहुँचना है. Continuous process है. It should continue for lasting improvement. It's not a competitive race that creates winners or losers. It's a continuous process. These are the few strategies for promoting diversity and inclusion at our classrooms. We have to appoint, there should be a nodal DEI person, like we have convener. Similarly, a captain of the board to set the pace as well as the path. We should have DEI ambassadors, some other teachers, members of the committee, so as to create awareness. तो करना क्या है? क्योंकि इसका कुछ set नहीं है. So basically, the committee designs a calendar of diversity-related activities throughout the year. पूरे साल में हमने क्या करना है, उसका हमें पूरा डिजाइन करना है. There should be. अब हमें करना क्या है? इसके लिए हमें students की जरूरत है. Because students will tell us what are the issues they are facing. So encourage students to gather to discuss these topics and various events, where our focus should be on empathic listening, and हमको उनको थोड़ा guide करना है discussion की तरफ और सुनना है कि उनको क्या problems है. Then they would work towards specifics like curriculum. हम उनको curriculum review चाहिए, या highlighting the contributions of marginalized groups. Yeah, whatever they feel, they will come up with those issues. Then we have to hold training and self-reflection, because पता ही नहीं है किसमें क्या करना है. तो training sessions होने चाहिए where we who know about this present information like difference between equality and equity, where we remove the various cultural labels, where we encourage the participants to present their own views. वो क्या सोचते हैं इसके बारे में, where we don't have to accuse or be judgmental. हमें सुनना है उसके बारे में. We don't have to treat bias like a dirty word. अगर हम हम सबके बायसेस होते हैं, रिगार्डलेस ऑफ रेस, जेंडर, एज और बैकग्राउंड, वी ऑल हैव बायसेस। हम सबको लगता है ये ठीक है, ये नहीं है, लेकिन अगर हम उस बायस को अलग रख देते हैं तो वो बायस ही रह जाता है। When we normalize discussions about biases and habits, we decrease defensiveness and instead generate awareness. Once people begin recognizing their biases, so they will eliminate harmful thinking. Biases हट जाएंगे, we will have discussions, we will know what is right, what is wrong, and just lean on others and don't quit. It's very important because there are always people who will oppose these efforts. ये क्या है, इसका क्या फायदा है, it is of no use, इसको करना नहीं चाहिए है. Despite that, we have to keep on going. We shouldn't stop anywhere. Ask for, provide and accept feedback. तो हमको औरों से, जो हमारे members हैं इसके या जो और teachers हैं, we should take feedback from them. It's helpful to build a network of DEI leaders in education. We should have a network where we have from other institutions also. We have, wherever these things are going on, we have a network where we give them advice, we take them advice. आपके कॉलेज में क्या हो रहा है, क्या efforts कर रहे हो, क्या हो सकता है, like that. Very important is to figure out how to track the progress. अब हमने कुछ करा तो है, अब हमें पता ही नहीं कि वो हुआ है कि नहीं हुआ. So it is very important for higher educational institutions to determine what areas to measure and track for success. तो कैसे करेंगे हमको कैसे पता चले हमने जो एफर्ट किया है. आजकल हर इंस्टीट्यूशन में फीडबैक्स हैं, सर्वेज हैं. It is required for NAP. So these kind of questions of inclusion, feelings of inclusion and belonging should be part of survey so that students give their feedback, and then we will get to know whether there is actually progress or not. So establish benchmarks and then compare results over time. Progress might be slow at first, but after a while, there will be breakthroughs. So we have to remember that we have to keep on going. Now, why we are talking of all this? Because if we make our higher educational institutions inclusive, only then we will go towards an inclusive society. We have to understand that nobody is superior, nobody is inferior, nobody is equal either. This slide I really found very useful, not only in our dealing with our students, but in our day-to-day dealing. Like we always have differences with our friends, our colleagues. We have to understand that nobody is superior and nobody is inferior, but nobody is the same. And that is why we have difference of opinion. People are simply unique, incomparable. We have to understand that you are you and I am I. Once we understand that, we will accept people wholeheartedly without, even with our dear friends, we have differences. These things will get eliminated once we understand that. To keep that golden rule, we have to put ourselves in other people's places. कि उसने ऐसा क्यों किया? If we had the imagination to do that, fewer bitter judgments would pass our lips. We would not make such comments. National and class prejudices will not stain our lives. We will not make these kind of comments. We have to understand that all means all, and that the strength lies in the differences that the people have, not their similarities. अगर एक टीम वर्क में हम काम कर रहे हैं, सभी, अगर हमने एक से कॉन्फ्रेंस ऑर्गेनाइज करनी है, अब सब में अलग अलग कैपेबिलिटी होनी चाहिए. किसी में लोग इकट्ठा करने की, किसी में अच्छा पोस्टर बनाने की, किसी में खाना ऑर्गेनाइज करने की, किसी में स्पीकर्स अच्छे ढूंढ के लाने की. अब अगर सभी एक ही चीज में अच्छे हैं तो कोई काम कैसे होएगा? Strength always lies in differences and not in similarities. Race and religion do not separate people. Ignorance about that does. So it's nice. This is actually almost sum up. Diversity is having a seat at the table. Inclusion is having a voice, and belonging is having that voice be heard. आप बैठ तो गए टेबल पे और आपने बोल भी दिया, लेकिन आपकी किसी ने सुनी ही नहीं तो क्या फायदा? So belonging is when your voice is heard. We will know that inclusive education has really become embedded in our culture when the term becomes obsolete. जैसे आजकल हम स्मॉल पॉक्स की बात नहीं करते हैं क्योंकि स्मॉल पॉक्स की वैक्सीन नहीं देते हैं क्योंकि वो खत्म हो गया है. तो इंक्लूसिव एजुकेशन की जब हम बात करना बंद कर देंगे, इसका मतलब that has become part of our culture, and that is where we have to go to. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I would request, or I would rather invite any comments, any suggestion or queries or
Any suggestion, any
yeah,
observations, anything that
from the
we-
participants.
yeah.
You can write in the chat box also.
Or you can unmute, we can make
Or you
provision.
can unmute yourself and ask the question.
May I?
Yeah.
Yes, please. Please introduce yourself and then you can ask.
Hello, ma'am. This is Dr. Pavan Kumar from Shivaji College. And listening to you, ideas were coming while listening to your slides. So I was just jotting down some of the ideas, ways I can, use them to make my class more engaging, because these days this generation is very different than what we used to be.
Yeah,
So it was, all your slides were very thought-provoking, and I listed many of them, and I hope that I will be able to implement some of them in the coming time. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, you have to actually, I'll just tell you once what happened, that I was sitting and one of my colleagues was sitting, she was discussing about, the students were gathered there about the society. तो जैसे ही मेरे क्लास का टाइम हुआ तो सब बच्चे ना भाग गए, तो मैंने कहा ओ गॉड, मैंने कितना डर कर रखा है बच्चों में कि बच्चे सारे भाग गए. तो she says, ma'am, no, they go to your class because they really find your class very engaging. So it was very, very encouraging for me too, and that is how I do, as I have listed over here. I've put the most of the things here as to what I have experienced in my classroom and how I engage my students. कभी कभी उनका मन नहीं कर रहा होता पढ़ने का, तो उनके साथ अब fruitful discussion बहुत बार किया है मैंने, and they always remember that, till the end they will remember that yes, this is the kind of, so they come to your class not because they want attendance, but because they really enjoy the class, and that is what.
And one of the incidents that you said, that some student is missing, ask them why they are missing. So this happened just today. So I found that girl in the college, and she didn't come to class, but she was a regular student. So I asked her, and then she told me she was not well. So such incidences are there, and we must acknowledge them in a different.
And not only that, sometimes they have gone out just for fun. तो अब ठीक है, बच्चे हैं, करेंगे. तो देखा मैंने एक बार कुछ एक कपल को जाते हुए, तो मैंने मजाक में बोल भी दिया कि मुझे पता है आप जा रहे थे, तो ठीक है. आई मीन वी हैव टू एक्सेप्ट, हम सोचें कि भी वो सिर्फ बैठे रहेंगे क्लास में, तो वो कभी भी नहीं आएंगे आपकी क्लास में अगर आप उनके साथ नॉर्मल डिस्कशंस नहीं करेंगे. यू हैव टू मेक देम फील दैट यस, हम भी समझते हैं. अब मैं तो ये बोलती हूँ कि मेरे बच्चे आपकी एज के हैं, तो मैं तो समझती हूँ आप क्यों कर रहे हो. आप मतलब डिपेंडिंग अपॉन योर एज ग्रुप आप कह सकते हो हम तो अभी इस चीज से निकल के आए हैं, हमें पता है आप ये क्यों कर रहे हो, लाइक दैट. सो देन दे एक्चुअली वो बिल्कुल खुल के आपसे बात करते हैं वंस यू टेल देम दैट यस आई अंडरस्टैंड आप ऐसा क्यों कर रहे हो. सो आई थिंक वी हैव टू मेक देम रियलाइज दैट हाँ हम वी आर ओके, अनलेस बदतमीजी करें, देन इट्स अ डिफरेंट थिंग इन द क्लासरूम.
There's a question from there's a question from Dr. Sukham P. Chawla that, can you throw light on how we can train the students to provide peer support? And we ourselves are not trained in that.
So उसके लिए ही एक तो higher educational institutions have to train us for that. Well, either we read about it or else हमको तो अब विद एक्सपीरियंस पता चल गया है, कुछ चीजें तो पता है, कुछ चीजें नहीं पता. जैसे मैंने आपको बताया कि अगर किसी स्टूडेंट को फॉर एग्जांपल एपिलेप्टिक फिट पड़ता है, फॉर एग्जांपल, नाउ आई नो दिस बिकॉज my husband is a doctor, I saw him handling an epileptic patient. but इस तरीके की चीजें हम एक दूसरे को बता सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल peer support के लिए ये है कि peer support depends upon what kind of support is required. now students, जैसे very good example would be that जो हमारे senior students हैं, जैसे third year के students हैं, second year के, उनको हम, जैसे मैंने अभी भी बच्चों को, जैसे बच्चे वैक्सेक का फॉर्म भर रहे थे, तो I told them कि आप बहुत कंफ्यूज हो, सीनियर से पूछो कि इसको, बिकॉज बच्चे बताएंगे कि किस में पेपर में उनको इजी
easy हुआ करना. Like that, if you tell your student mentors, which is a very good and very helpful thing, कि जो senior बच्चे होते हैं उनको आप बोलो कि आप इनको help करो, इनसे पूछो कि इनको कुछ प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं आ रही है, कहीं पर कोई प्रॉब्लम है, कोई हैरेसमेंट है, क्या प्रॉब्लम है, किस तरीके की हेल्प चाहिए. तो बच्चे आपस में एक दूसरे को they are comfortable telling each other. Many times they are not comfortable telling us. So then that thing can be tackled at our end. And otherwise, we can have training sessions if we need trained student volunteers. So we can have training sessions for them by trained counselors or psychologists. That initiative the college can take at that level, depending upon the problem. That will depend upon the problem that you are facing. So does
Even
that
the students which are, outstation students and they live in PG, for them, when they get ill or something like, I mean, they are not well, then their peers can help them because
yeah,
they are alone here. So because it happens in the class also.
absolutely. There's a question I can see.
There's another question, ma'am, from Dr. R.T. Parab.
Yeah.
That I have many students from India as well as few from African countries and from Middle East countries. Generally, when I'm giving examples to explain any particular concept, my examples are in general related to the Indian system. Am I really missing inclusivity?
So you know what you can do, as I gave that example of that Parsi menu building. So since you know that your students are from African countries or whichever country, you can just read a bit about that country and find out examples. So you will really feel when you ये तो हम कई बार करते हैं ना, हम कुछ पढ़ा रहे होते हैं तो हम भी तो थोड़े एक्स्ट्रा सर्च करते हैं कि भाई हम इसके बारे में पढ़ लें, क्योंकि तो अगर आपको पता ही है कि आपके स्टूडेंट्स हैं, you can always read about that particular country from which you have, and you give those examples also along with the Indian system, and you will see how happy those students will feel once you give those examples, and your Indian students will also become enlightened about that system. So I think that would be a really good initiative if you do that extra bit of research.
Any question? Any more questions?
Any observations? Yeah.
Comment or suggestions? Okay, ma'am. So I would like to. There's another. I think they have one of the participant has shared that
Seniors, juniors, yeah, they are just giving their example.
So what they have shared is the computer science department in their institution is implementing knowledge sharing
system. This is very good. Yeah, this is what is required actually.
So that is, I think, where the seniors teach juniors.
Yeah.
So that is a initiative that they have taken in their institution.
So there is this question on how to deal with the economic problems of students. ये तो मैंने बहुत सारे examples आपको दिए ही हैं. लाइब्रेरी में जैसे हमें मेरे कुछ कोलीग्स बोल रहे थे कि हमारे यहाँ पे बहुत सारी किताबें पढ़ी हैं, तो मैंने उनको बोला कि हमने पहले भी ऐसे किया, जैसे हमारे कुछ टीचर्स रिटायर हुए तो हमने वो किताबें स्टूडेंट्स के लिए रख दी, एक जगह पे रख दी कि जिसको जरूरत है वो ले लो. सो लाइक दैट देयर वाज टीचर्स हु वर सेइंग कि हमारी किताबें पढ़ी हुई हैं तो अब उसको उठवा दो. तो मैंने कहा हम एक कार्टन्स में रख देते हैं, वी विल टेल द स्टूडेंट्स, एंड वी हैव आल्सो बिल्ट अ लाइब्रेरी. तो अब लाइब्रेरी बना सकते हैं, या जैसे मैंने कहा सेल फोन्स की एक जगह पे रख सकते हैं, डिपॉजिट कर सकते हैं. पुराने लैपटॉप्स हमारे हो जाते हैं, पड़े रह जाते हैं, हमारे खराब हो जाते हैं, 2 साल बाद हम उसको ई वेस्ट में दे देते हैं. rather than that we can put it like this. We can have a depository of everything जो भी हमारे को बच्चों को जरूरत पड़ती है. प्लस इन whatever way I said, you can always give notes, you can share your books. बहुत बारी हम देते हैं बच्चों को अपनी किताबें, तो जो उसको जरूरत है, whatever resource that child needs, I think we can all of us are willing to help. Plus financial aid ज्यादा है तो college can give financial aid in way.
Any more questions? Okay, ma'am, then I would like to thank you on behalf of the whole organizing team. Thank you so much for this talk on a very pertinent and basic need in education system, that is having diversity in the students and inclusive education. A sensitization about it to the educators would lead to more empathetic education system and would give the student a better ecosystem to perform better. And this will also make students feeling more connected to the subject, to the teachers, as well as to the institution. So with this, I really thank you so much again for this very elaborative and very comprehensive talk on student diversity and inclusive education. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much for your comments. It's very encouraging. And I really like the way everybody is interacting. I think you should keep on doing this for the next 7 days. So thank you to all the participants. I thank you, Tabassum. I'm part of the team anyways. So thank you, everyone. These words, yeah, can just wind up. So good night to everyone. Good night to all the participants. And see you all tomorrow again at 5 o'clock. Goodbye.
Good night to
Good
all
night.
participants.